This is single-handedly something that ruined my career. If I didn't use I could probably compete for another 15 years. But when I broke my journals, I find a page with those masters thing. Master was taking a day.
No way.
Yeah. 25 milligrams 3 times a day, 8 hours apart was common. My insulin protocol, I always believed it. 45 minutes before training, right after training. My dosages were from 10 to 20 units prior to the training, according to the body part.
Honestly, if I had to go back, I would probably do the same damn thing again and test because it works so fucking well. As soon as I started getting complicated and hearing all these other things that people did, which is when I started to make slower ground. People are theorizing that they're over-injecting their lats, and that's kidding the nerves and then not allowing the lats to fire.
It happened to me.
If you guys were to go back in time and you had 1 year for you to gain the most quality muscle that you could possibly gain, knowing what you know now after all these years of coaching, having podcasts, what would you do? What's up, bro homies? So the new Trensparent shirt is finally out, and I just wanted to thank you guys so much because, to be honest, I don't know if I've expressed my thanks enough to you guys, but this podcast has probably been the most meaningful thing that I think I've ever created, I've ever really delved my time into, and I just wanted to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity because I really would not be here if it wasn't for all of y'all. And as cliche as it may all sound, the power to be able to have a voice and discuss these issues that we have all dealt with has been something that I think I felt a lot of fulfillment through because of just how much we've been able to connect with each other. So we finally have the shirt, the hoodie, and the pants all on this site. Basically, and the site is acons, AYKONS.com/collections/transparent. And 3 pieces there for you to get. So we try to make it as cheap as reasonably possible because the company that we work with does upcharge quite a bit extra for the base price for shipping and handling and packaging. And this is all everything that we kind of needed to have implemented because, to be honest with y'all, I had never dealt with clothes before, never dealt with any of this crap before. So I have no absolute clue what I'm doing. But basically, because of the prices, I felt bad that the shipping was expensive. So I have a code Nile for you guys to use to get 10% off of everything that you're buying. So hopefully that kind of helps compensate just a little bit. But because of this, not having enough product is going to be an issue, and they'll be able to send out your product to you within 2 days, and then the shipping should be about 7 to 12 days, at least as according to the site. So maximum, you'll get your thing in 2 weeks. If you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out. I'll be here. I'll answer your questions. DM, this is the community, so I'll be here the entire time. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys because I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you guys so much, and let's get this ball rolling. Keep training hard. 2 40-year-old versions and a Gen Z. We can't figure out some technology. You know that new penguin meme? She keeps popping up on. It's just this penguin that's like he's slowly walking towards the mountains. It's like something that was from like 2007, and for some reason it's resurfaced out of nowhere. People just do weird things. Basically, just a solo penguin going on his like solo adventure trip. Right. Appreciate you guys for coming on, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us. It just it's bad timing for me because I didn't have a cold for a couple of years, and last 2 days I'm like in bed.
Did it just come out of nowhere? Do you
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was at the UFC on Saturday with a bunch of people, so maybe I catched it there. But last 2 days I can't even move.
Do you normally use antioxidants like glutathione pretty regularly?
Not regularly. I mean, I got all kinds of peptides from everybody, and I'm always on every multivitamin you can possibly think of on acetylcysteine, on coenzyme CoQ10. I have like a 20 things that I was drinking once on YouTube, and they're all giving me shit because like why I'm overdoing it. All the macronutrients and vitamins that I take, as a base, but the glutathione, not really. Yeah. The thing is, I got I'm going to tell you this brief history. 4 times I got the COVID, and this actually looks like a COVID, but I can't really test it. And first time, 2 times at Olympia. Imagine right after Olympia, the time when Dexter Jackson got it and everybody else. And first time was the critical. Like I thought I was going to die. The very first COVID wave when it hit, it's like 5 days you cannot even move a step out of the bed.
That's fucking scary.
Yeah, you're dying of thirst, and glass is over there like too far to reach, and you just don't fucking reach it.
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, but let me not be a whiner. Let's start.
All right. We're good. We're starting now. I always start anyways raw. So,
Okay.
I mean, do y'all not get sick often? I don't know if that's phrased correctly. Do y'all not get sick often, especially as bodybuilders or like back when you were competing?
No, seriously. I don't remember maybe 10 times in my entire life, and I'm 62.
I don't want to jinx myself.
Yeah.
But 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been sick 4 times since 2018.
Damn, that's a good record.
And then I had COVID, but I didn't know I had COVID. I was actually boxing, and I was like, why do I have like no, like the rounds? I was like, I have no effort. Like everything was just like so weird. Like I couldn't get my heart rate up. It felt weird. And then my wife, I come home, she's like, dude, I'm so sick. And she got tested and she's like, she got COVID. I'm like, well, I probably have COVID. But I never actually got anything. Like nothing ever happened besides me just being tired.
Isn't that crazy how that happens? I feel like if you're on top of your shit, you just don't get the symptoms.
But the thing is this, dude, I'm not around many people. I coach from home. Like my exposure to people is far less than most. I don't have a high stress life. I eat very well. I exercise. And I obviously my father's a physician, and like my dad probably has been sick twice in like 10 years. He just never gets sick. So I probably have a little bit of that from him.
Okay. Yeah. The reason I'm asking is because, dude, in like the last 6 years, I've had maybe 2 colds, and there was one point where I tested myself for COVID and it was positive, but I had absolutely 0 symptoms whatsoever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's an interesting thing because I've only been really on top of my shit since I started learning all this bodybuilding shit. You know what I mean? And like just having diet correctly, being more active, honestly, like injecting glutathione pretty regularly. And I just like don't fucking get sick.
I've never used it. I bet you felt kind of godlike. I bet you're like, I'm a COVID. I don't feel anything.
No, it's fucking awesome. It's fucking sick. I don't know. I was just curious because, like, you know, obviously people consider this sport fairly toxic. But I feel like there's a lot of bodybuilders I know that when they're really on top of their shit, they don't ever really get sick.
I think sleep is a big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Milos, did you get sick back in the day in the 80s?
No, that's why I said maybe I was sick 10 times that I remember. I'm as healthy as can be normally, right? But I did get the COVID 4 times, and I said first time I actually thought I was going to die, and my wife looked like, you know, so bad. Second COVID was nothing. Third COVID was nothing, and then the fourth was again quite bad. But you know, it's literally speaking is like somebody like, you know, stick the needle and sucked out, you know, syringe all the life out of you. Like you are just like, I can't move, I can't think, I can't do nothing. And this is kind of like last 2 days, I kind of feel it, but I'm trying to shake it off. I slept until just like 20 minutes ago.
Fire. Let's go.
Anyway.
Sorry to wake you up.
Oh, the fact of the matter, like you can get sick sometimes, and then all of a sudden, like think about COVID, right? You get sick and you hear the people dying, and then you're like, I could imagine like having COVID when it just started, and then you see these people passing away, and you're like, great, I have it, and then you're like, I feel like I'm dying, and now that's in your head. You're like, wonderful, awesome. That's COVID.
That first wave when I called my mom and in Yugoslavia, Serbia, right? They were all thinking, okay, that's it. That's the last time that they see me alive. But I mean, I don't want to say, you know, to anybody. I have a aunt, you know, close aunt, died. She got the COVID. Then within 5 days, she was gone. I had relatives, you know, that died. I have a very close friends that died. So I don't know what to tell you. You know, I have mixed feelings about COVID, but it was for real. I mean, people were dying.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks on that one. I remember one time I got the fever. I got a flu so bad, and I was staying with my parents in between apartments, and my dad's a physician, and I was passing out in fever. I kept passing out, and my dad's like, "You're good, you're good." I'm like, "Dad, I think I'm dying," and I hit the ground. I fall on the ground, and I wake up, and I'm in the recovery position, and he's kind of slapped my cheek, And I'm like, Dad, I think I'm dying. He's like, no, you're not. You're not dying. You're going to be fine. I should go to the hospital. He's like, you don't need to go to the hospital. You're going to be fine. I'm like, how are you so calm right now? Are you lying to me or am I really dying?
Okay, let me ask you this: how is it here in America? For example, when I had that ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, you remember? After that wrong injection of Synthol and went through my heart, and I got that ARDS. They rushed me to the hospital, and I'm listening to the dispatcher. He's like, "Oh, I don't think he's gonna make it to the."
Oh shit!
So I'm there, right? And I'm listening like, "What do you mean I'm not gonna make it?" Right? So when I got there, the fucking nurse, she said, "Oh, are you organ donor?" I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not organ donor." Here comes my ex. And you say, I had my issue with ex. I said, don't you fucking give my organs, But anyway, all the nurses, all the doctors, they're like, oh, so bad, too bad, you're so young to die. Like, what the fuck? In Serbia, really, even if you're dying, they're going to tell you, like your father is saying, oh, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Like, half of your face is gone. Oh, you're going to be okay. Here, they were writing me off. So, okay, let me reverse a little bit. That was like 3:00 in the morning. I was going to do the guest posing for Joe Weider, and I had to do one more shot of, at the time I was using Synthol, right? Mm-hmm. Triceps. I can't reach it, so I told my ex-wife to do it. And, she poked me and she didn't aspirate, right? And squirt in. And it was just like somebody punched me in the chest. I fell down. It was like, oh my God, it was horrible. So I was already sleepy. I was just going to do that and go to sleep, right? And now, she went back to sleep and I'm on the floor. Feeling is, and if somebody ever gets it, you guys from maybe Trensparent shot or something, it was just like a pinhole that you can breathe in, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to calm myself and I'm going to get back to my son. And I couldn't. And I couldn't.
Oh my God.
Now I can't call her, right? And she's fucking sleeping, So by the time I crawl on the floor and wake her up, and she's like not responding. So if I called the ambulance. So when they came in, my all vital signs were gone. And this time when they put me in a paramedic's car, literally that's what I'm hearing. I'm not going to make it. And I feel like, okay, there's something major, but you're expecting they're going to relieve it somehow. The moral of the story is they call my mother and sister. My sister is a surgeon, right? Doctor. And they tell her, you have less than 24 hours to see him alive. And I'm listening to all this shit, So in fact, no, I don't want to fall asleep, right? Because like if I fall asleep, then what? I'm not going to, that's it.
Wait, in your mind, were you in denial or were you freaking out? You're like,
no, I was freaking out. At this point, I was freaking out by all means, right? Fuck. So the opposites, like in Serbia, they would tell you, oh, you're going to be okay. Like your dad, right? Oh, you're going to be okay. Oh, you can't breathe. Who cares? These fucking people, they're ripping me off. And then my wife, being religious, she brought the priest to fucking pray, like to send me to heaven, Anyway, that's ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, that I guess could be severe. And I was there. Now that you said your story that your dad is that way, that's how my parents are, right? You're super bad, but they go, oh, you're okay. You're okay.
You're good. You're good. You're
okay.
Yeah.
It's crack. Anyway, I had to share that story.
Anytime I feel like any girls I'm seeing always get sick, like deathly sick, like absolutely terrible. And then I'm always completely fine. Just
you're young.
Honestly,
let me tell you, that's another thing.
Genetically inferior species, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Edit that. Milos is like,
wait. You were mentioning Synthol. I actually wanted to ask. Honestly, what was oil use like back then? Just, I feel like lots of people have been bringing this up recently.
I said that story, so the same Milos keeps repeating himself, and they're so sick of it. So I don't know if you hear this story, but that's early 90s, let's say 95, 96. And I was this German bodybuilder, Manfred Hoeberl or something, with the craziest arms you've ever seen in your life, right? And he shows up at Olympia, walk around, and then, of course, a lot of people, wondering, but none of us really knew. And then there was some South African guy also that showed up at Olympia. You see, it was not such a bad job like now people can do it. And what I end up making myself, what my arms look like 1999 Night of the Champions, it was ridiculous. I'm embarrassed. But it looked like borderline possible, right? So when you have a smaller arms and judges are telling you, well, with the bigger arms, you can maybe be a contender and win some shows, right? So you get tempted. And to make long story short, somebody, I don't want to mention the names because now they're all criticizing me if I say the name like I'm picking on that guy. Somebody famous from the Olympia was using, and his partner gave it to me, like 12 bottles to give it to somebody else. And I asked him, hold on a second, what is it? I said, Synthol, everybody's using it. Say, can I get some? He said, just take half. And that's how I started. That's 97 Olympia that I started using Synthol. Now, at that time, what that oil was, I have no idea, right? I don't think that anybody ever figured out what that really is. The bottom line is we are monkey see, monkey do business, and they just need to sell you a story like it binds to your fiber, it enhances the diameter, and all this bullshit, right? Obviously. Yeah, it's not like that. But I started injecting it, and when your arm blow up like a couple of inches that you always wanted to have it, you kind of like it. And then, man, and then you start putting, what else can I put? I can put in my calf. And I had a good calves, right? But I didn't have a freaky calves. And I've seen a couple of guys who I said, okay, if that works there, let me. If you see some of those pictures in 99, my calves look ridiculous. I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Ian better be watching this.
Yeah, but so I went publicly and said to everybody, this is single-handedly something that ruined my career. If I didn't use a Synthol, I could probably compete for another 15 years. But all these injections, they created that fibrotic tissue and necrotic tissue. And really, after a while, it atrophied. So when you have something decent and you try to enhance it, you sell your soul to the devil, and then he comes and claim it. It's always like this. So I've seen many times when you look at it, now it's this new thing, whatever they call it. We talk about recently on the podcast from Brazil. You guys know for sure.
I don't have any of my guys doing anything like that.
Not even the PPM, whatever stupid shit. I literally don't know. Neither did I wanted to find out after this bad experience. I mean, if it's not anabolic and something that makes sense, why would you use it? Why did I use it? I just told you and confess. I was always told, like, just with a little bit more volume, a little bit bigger arms, I could be contender. Now, these guys are using it, so like, well, let me try it. And then really, I got my arms to 22.5 inch, right? So this Sean Ray was cutting my 17-inch pythons, right? So now I'm bigger. My pythons are bigger than yours. It was really ridiculous because it didn't even look like a normal muscle.
Okay. So what about all these people that are like saying that you can do it in the right way, make it look like it's actually...
That's like the people who say you can use DNP the right way.
Yeah. You see, this is exactly what I want to warn everybody. Tell me what I want to hear it, right? Oh, it's not so bad. And if I do it in the right way, I can get away with it, right? And then that's how it goes. I mean, of course, it doesn't come with instructions, right? Because I got the oil. I say, okay, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. I'm going to inject in a small muscle that I want to blow up. That was biceps, triceps. I didn't do it in adults, because I was happy with my adults. And I regret doing it in the calves too, because now my calves are like old. atrophy. It didn't look like fucking flamingo legs. But it's not the right way. The right way is don't do it. And I'm seriously, I know that there's a lot of people coming to watch your podcast. My honest to God message is don't ever think about it. I had like probably 50 bottles left that I didn't use, and I didn't give anybody away. Like, okay, you want to use it? I smashed them all and threw them in the can because I would not want anybody to go through what I went through and look like what I look like.
That's good advice. Huh.
Yeah. It is definitely not something that people would reach for it.
Just a hypothetical question, not to dig this any deeper, but if you were to, if you inject the same amount of oil as you would had you hypothetically gained that amount of muscle, would it be significantly below the weight cap of weight that you're gaining? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well,
asking for a friend because obviously I wouldn't do this or anything.
Weight cap. I mean, I don't know. Hold on a second. First, are you asking that somebody that you know is doing it and you're just trying to find a way how to do it right?
I guess I'm curious. I'm curious if a classic competitor used that these days, would it help him look more voluminous without having to push him too far above the weight cap?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, right?
Yeah, but it's the wrong thing to do. I don't want to even say it. It's the wrong thing to do. I'm serious. Now, if you're a friend of that guy, use this video and tell him, stop this very moment before it's too late. He's going to change the anatomy, physiognomy, and the fiber is not going to be the same. I mean, right now, I can do anything I want to do for my arms. My arms are dead, and that's what's going to, there's no that high muscle connection and strong contraction and, that you can feel it firing. Yeah. And what for? For this temporary little volumization? We use anabolic steroids to inject locally into the muscles. That I could see. Okay, if that's what he wants to do, maybe that would make much more sense. I mean, Danny James is going to kill me when I say it, but like his side triceps with a little bit of Winstrol, it was like, holy shit, that's like best, lateral triceps I've ever seen in my life. And look normal and look good. There was a lot of, testosterone propionates all over the Europe, the German kind, Italian kind, that whatever they made from the pharmacies. When you inject the biceps, you would be like volumizing and making hard, inflamed in a good way.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So, you remember Ernie Taylor? With with the stupid triceps, right? And everybody was saying like, oh yeah, that's Synthol. He says, no, it was not Synthol. It was just like everything he was injecting there. So you locally have this kind of effect.
Damn it. I used to follow his tricep workout from Flex Magazine when I was in high school, thinking my triceps were going to blow up, man. I was trying.
Yeah. I mean, actually, now I watched last night a little bit of your podcast with Dr. Dean. A very, very good guy. Very informative. And a couple of things that he was saying, like, okay, if you inject locally, would it make local results so it goes systematically? And even by the theory, it's picked up and it goes systematically. There is something that happens locally that you can visually see it. And that's why all of us were doing it, right? Sometimes real science and bro science is like, okay, gram of theory, a gram of practice, right? It comes to the gram of practice can be heavier than a ton of theory, because if you really try it and, okay, why do I need to blindly trust authority and trust the history or science blindly? Okay, you say it's not working? Let me try it for myself. Oh, check it out. It is working, but it doesn't supposed to work. Okay, so which way do you go? You know what I mean? On that note, if the gentleman that you're talking to, classic physique, I assume if he's using Synthol is being used just for small muscle groups. They're probably arms. He's way better off injecting whatever else he's injecting steroid-wise than Synthol.
All right. Wow. It's crazy. I would have been injecting my calves way long ago.
Oh my God. I injected calves once in my life. I never do it. Like, just like the tissue there just looks so tender, you know?
Yeah. Tender and veiny. Real nice and
Well,
veiny.
You know, actually, right there is my blown up calf. You know, there's 99. Well, even though that picture, you can't really see it. But I sent you some photos. Like they were stupid. I couldn't put them through the jeans. You know, that was like so big.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, it felt good for a while, and then until it didn't feel good, and that's like, God damn, look at that.
Well, I guess I really don't know anything. I didn't know that it could really depreciate your muscle in the future.
Oh,
well, do you ever, Milos, do you remember disappearing lat syndrome that's been occurring with current bodybuilders? Right?
Yeah, but you see, there is something about injecting and hitting the nerve, and I've seen that.
Right.
I've seen this with Nasser somebody. I had a 1995. At that time, I was good friends with Nasser, right? And you know, you can't reach your lats, so I said, okay. You know, at that time I was still not married. You know, the ex-wife, that happened like much later. But Nasser injected for me, and even when I was standing in a relaxed pose, there's just like couple of fibers were shut. You could see like hole. And then that thing, it basically, somebody told me and revived it, and then went back to. But then I see him on Hidatare Yamagishi. I see him on Big Ramy, on who else? I think maybe even Yavolier had it at one point, right? It's just like fibers are not going all the way to insertion, right? There's something that was missing. I think it's neurological.
Because it's funny, is like I looked at bodybuilders and followed like Bonac and Dexter for years. And then when you see their physiques, it's like that didn't happen. And all of a sudden you see newer, younger physiques come in. They come in and they fade faster. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to say names. Maybe I'll say after the podcast. But like I can think of 3 specific people that like made it out quick and then they disappeared relatively quick. But that you have bodybuilders from like I said, Dexter, Bonac, who've been competing forever.
Yeah.
And like I don't see that happen to their physique. I didn't see it happen to Ronnie's physique until he hurt his lat. Remember his lat? And that was like stemming from his spine. But like, dude, I don't know. And then people are theorizing that like they're over injecting their lats, and that's kidding the nerves and then not allowing the lats to fire.
I mean, it happened to me, and that's what I have a library of 200,000 photos. So it's hard for me to find it. And obviously I didn't want to save it, you know, the one that my few fibers are missing, but it happened to me. I was like, God damn, I'm looking at myself on a stage and it's visible. And that was from Shah. So I assumed that this is also what's causing everybody else. But then they don't really inject the lower lats, right? You know, well, so
I mean,
you wouldn't inject the lower lats, you would inject the upper, yeah. So I've seen there some, but that's not the disappearing lat. Disappearing lat would be like Big Ramy, right? The bottom, which you don't really inject it there. So I don't know how that happens.
Okay. I've been injecting my lat, honestly, for quite a bit. Not consistently. It's normally shoulders and, you know, venture glutes. But I feel like maybe I haven't been doing it long enough for that to happen, or I just didn't hit that risk of like hitting a nerve or something.
Or you haven't used compounds that cause massive inflammation, or, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
You do it yourself?
Injecting my lats?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm small. It's easy for me.
All right.
Still got 17 more pounds before maybe I'll be big enough to be able to do that, or not be able to do that.
Milos is like, you can do your own shoulders and your lats.
I heard from other guys, okay, one of the Mr. Olympias would shoot even in a trap. Like, how the fuck do you shoot the trap? Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
come on, that's freaky. But lats, I will understand from the side. The other guy, most famous one, also gonna not be mentioning the names. He just lifts the arm and then hits the lats. Like, oh, I can't do this. How do you do it?
Me?
No, Naya. No. Do you do it too?
No, I used to, but Evan told me, like, dude, what you do is you grab a hand, right? Kind here. Then you move, pull. So you can
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Here, and here.
Yeah.
And you go this way to be able to reach the shoulder. Because if you try to do this.
That I understand.
Yeah, that's what I do.
How I would think. But the other guy just lifts his arm and it shoots in the lat right under. From
That's
the
wild.
front. Look. Yeah. The most
crazy.
Okay? Like,
It's hardcore. It's our hardcore. I had a professional strongman friend that was just like, I remember asking him, they're a different breed. I'm like, bro, you ever lose your appetite in Anadrol? He's like, why would I lose my appetite? I'm like, because it makes me not want to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He's like, I take 150 milligrams a day for like 8 weeks. I don't lose my appetite. I'm like, okay. And then one day he's like, dude, can you do my shoulder, my rear delt? I'm like, yeah. And I'm doing it. And he's like, why are you doing so slow? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, just boom. And like, yeah. And he just goes and it slams on it. And I'm just like, what the heck, dude?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I've seen that happen. It's tissue damage, goddamn. Like, literally speaking, like, as fast as you can, like, psh, spray it in. No. You have to go slow. But, okay, now that you mentioned Anadrol and appetite suppression, I've never heard this in the 80s or 90s. None of us.
Really?
I'm
Anadrol.
dead serious. And I know now that you would be interested in, 90s stories and all that stuff and what's believable, what's unbelievable. I'm here. I'm still shooter. I will always tell you the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Anadrol, I know that many people in the States, I mentioned myself, else, and body, right? And I have I should, do you see when I went to Jay Cutler's podcast and I brought my journals and then he was flipping it and then I find a page with those, a master's thing. Master was taking 10 Anadrol a day.
Oh my God.
No way.
Yeah. And why? I have that book over here. I can pull it out right now. PDR from whatever, 1994, 5, 6. When you would look at the oxymetolone and recommended dosage was 5 milligram per kilo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Per kilo.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Kilo.
Wait, no way.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look at the medical journal states that.
What?
Yeah. I can find a copy and send it to you. I used to have all those.
You can't feel great.
Of course not.
That's insane.
But
shit.
This is how it was. 25 milligrams 3 times a day, 8 hours apart, right, was common. Okay. And then there was, 50 milligrams times 3. And then people said, like, hey, man, I'm not going to crack the tab on a half. I'm just going to have a 3 a day. So that's how it became, 150 milligrams a day.
Wow. That is wild.
I'm all set with that shit.
But nobody complained. Okay. D-bol, on the other hand, was major appetite, booster. And, for example, in the Dominican Republic, I know I was there, and you can buy it in the pharmacies. They also have a sleeping agent with your D-bol. So I don't know if you know, my friend is from Australia. He is a coach also. And
Ambien and D-bol.
Yeah. So exactly. He came to the Dominican Republic to train, and all this promised, guys, in 2 weeks, I'll put 10 kilos on you, 20 pounds, 22 pounds, right? So he came with that idea, and we would do 2 workouts a day, my insulin protocols and all this shit. Bomb him with everything. And then obviously there's the cycle. But he was taking that D-bol and he was sleeping all day because I didn't realize they put the sleeping aid into the methanol, right? So they just want you to, be sleepy and put the
Anabolic.
weight on the
That's
cow.
crazy. At least you got some rest. That's wild. I can't imagine just dousing yourself in sleep aid consistently on a daily basis.
I hate sleep aids, dude.
Really? Wait, why?
Like sleeping drugs,
Yeah.
like Ambien, Benadryl.
Yeah.
No.
You don't like it? Why?
Nope. It doesn't even allow me to get restorative sleep, and yet the rest of the day I'm completely drowsy and retarded.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little bit the opposite, to be honest. It actually helps me a lot to stay consistently, I wake up like a lot during the night, normally at least 2 times. So when I take that, it definitely helps me stay asleep, which is a big thing. But then I just try to supplement with as much like alpha GPC and choline, CDP choline, and everything else during the day, just so I don't like increase my risk of dementia. Whether or not that's really helpful or that's actually like, reducing the risk or not. But I think it's better than not getting any sleep at all, right?
Oh, yeah. Because we know that bad sleep will kill you fast.
Yeah. With peptides growing substantially in the last couple of months now, and honestly, we could list out a long list of all the peptides that have helped us. You guys have heard these peptides and these research chems in the podcast maybe a million times. Peptides I've used from APR, such as BPC 157 and TP 500 for soft tissue healing, retatrutide and other GLPs, mitochondrial support, such as SS31, MOTC, 5-amino-1Q, methylene blue, SLU. There's a bunch of others. Obviously, the list goes on and on. One of my favorite things, though, that I've been utilizing, such as during my last prep, that has allowed my blood work to come basically pristine, aside from slightly elevated liver enzymes at about 60 and 130 1 week after the show. And this is after a leg day because my dumbass doesn't want to skip a training day. These are probably the things that I think are the most important. So this includes like your injectable glutathione, injectable or even just normal NAC, liposoluble glutathione, GI aids such as oral BPC, oral TB, KPV. A lot of these things have probably been very substantial in reducing oxidative stress and keeping all my blood markers down, and thus keeping me as basically healthy as fucking possible that you can be while you're bodybuilding. So I couldn't be more thankful to Mike for literally showing me the ropes and also providing me with all of these things. Even the compounded supplements that he creates for blood pressure and reducing oxidative stress on all your organs, including your cardiovascular system, your liver, and your kidneys. All of these that he creates have been very substantial, honestly. So you can find any of these at his site, aprhealthsolutions.com, and he has offered me a code Nile for you guys to use, which will offer you a 15% discount off of all of that as well, since he knows that the codes are a little bit just for the homies, If you guys end up using those and you like him, please let me know. Shoot in a comment, just give me a DM or something, and if you ever have any problems or any questions, I'll be here too. This is a community for me, even though I don't have a fucking Discord because I'm lazy as shit, but I fucking should make one. So love you guys, and keep training hard.
I remember, when people ask like Clen, like if I take 20 micrograms of Clen, I have a lot of energy. I could never take more than 60 micrograms in my life. And when my friends like, bro, I'll take 80 micrograms in a cold brew coffee and then take a nap.
I know. It's crazy.
I can't do that.
I can't do that either, bro.
What?
Clenbuterol you talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So when would you think Clenbuterol become popular?
Oh, when did it?
Yeah.
Oh, long time ago.
Oh, also like, early 90s. Yeah, 92, 93. And I remember female competitors taking 15 a day, 1.5. Okay. 15,
20 microgram tablets.
Exactly. And I was just like, blown away. So first time I used it, just like you said, okay, I'm gonna take 20. I started shaking, shit. So I moved it up to 40, and then I was like called sissy because this lady that I actually trained with, she was taking 15. And not even sweating profusely, not even doing anything, right? Like, I used the Clenbuterol maybe for 2 shows, and I quit it because I just couldn't handle it. I mean,
I don't like that feeling anymore. I'm older. I don't want to feel stimulated.
It's not worth it. But yeah, that's how much they would have it. And then they had a injectable Clenbuterol in Spain. And because I had some Spanish bodybuilders, and of course, I have to try everything. So I injected that. Jesus Christ! I mean, I can't even explain the feeling, like anxiety, or like you just want to jump out of your skin. And Jesus Christ, and those are very low dosages. Not.
Is there even a point
It's
to
a hard
injectable?
pass for me.
Yeah.
Is there even a point to injectable Clenbuterol? Like, what's the?
Just to bypass the liver.
I mean, but just like when you talk to Dr. Dean, right? It's an administration, like, orally go through the first pass, or injectably, intramuscular, intravenous, subcutaneous, all that stuff, right? It's obviously much, much quicker, right? And absorption is 1,000,000%. So again, it is. I do believe that most of the drugs, half is wasted through the first pass.
Yeah, good percent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
What do you got for us, buddy?
Sorry if I pee a lot, by the way. I just came back from a lift at New Tech with Summerfield, and normally when I lift, I drink I smash like 2 liters of water. So it's just passing right through me right now.
Hey, don't worry. I'm 43 years old. I have a prostate problem. I pee all the time.
Go. Makes me feel a little bit better. Did you guys ever particularly have any issues with like a specific compound or any particular gear, just from personal experience?
Yeah, a couple.
Go ahead.
EQ gave me very bad anxiety.
Okay.
Like really bad.
Do you feel like for you
but the thing is this, I just ignored it. I did it anyway and just ignored it. And I had no idea it was exactly that until somebody mentioned to me one day. And I'm like, really? I thought it was just my own response. And then I tried it again and I'm like, it is anxiety. And I pulled it. And after like 10, 14 days, it started to dissipate. And then that's one. NPP, as I got older, or DECA as I got older, you just the normal, like, it's noradrenaline side effects psychologically. You're up and you're down. When I was younger, test DECA D-ball, I ran like every off season, and I put on 40 pounds of stage weight, and I never had a side effect, never ran Novodex, and it was great. Halo testing is 50-50. I have to like play constant country music just to keep myself calm and relaxed. Because like, I mean, Halo, I loved it, but it also, I was like, somebody says something to you and you're just kind of like, that motherfucker. And you start thinking about that for the rest of the day. But other than that, those are the only ones that really gave me issues. But I also never used high doses of pretty much anything in retrospect to people today. But AQ was very specific anxiety, like couldn't sleep, anxious all the time, wide awake, Halo testing, 50-50, very just aggravated all the time. And I don't want to be aggravated. And that's it. Milos?
I think that you and I talked about it. Because not me personally, but I had several close friends that they would call me 2:00 in the morning, and they have to drive off their house on the Baldwin because they just can't stay there. They have extreme anxiety. They just have to, drive and not be in the house and be anywhere. And after the guy was doing this every time I do those mini cycles, like 4 to 6 weeks of this, and then switch to something else and something else. Every time when he was on EQ, I realized that's what was happening. That's how we put 2 and 2 together, that he has to be EQ. Choletastin, you don't want to give to the serial killer personality because it's gonna go on a rampage. I've seen that one.
Chris. Yeah.
You know what
Chris.
also was very popular back in the early 90s that is no longer? It's that sublingual metal test.
Yeah.
Oh, but that would make you, roid raging, like warnings to hurt somebody just because they're looking at you. You know what I mean?
You could train forever.
Yeah. It's one of those things. They are also, now I remember every time when I went to Dominican Republic, you could actually get the metal test. And there is a rooster on the box. Why? Because they give it to the roosters they're fighting. Because they go crazy.
Oh, what? Give me that shit.
Yeah. Hey,
Rooster
what's
drugs.
the Dominican Republic? You can buy it in a pharmacy, man.
Think about how crazy bodybuilders are. They pick up a package. They're like, why is there a cock on this bottle? And they're like, well, we give it to roosters so they tear each other's head off. Perfect. This would be good for leg day.
Fire.
Yeah. I know this is embarrassing, but I got to Amsterdam for one of these Grand Prix, and I'm asking where is this hotel, and I said, guys, explain it to me, right? And he goes like, oh yeah, there is that bar. It's called Cock Ring, right? It's like, oh, they have a rooster fights. Like, I'm gonna go for a rooster fight. No, it was a gay club.
Oh shit.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah, I always wanted to watch that. Those they go crazy. The roosters.
Yeah, the roosters. Fire. Milos, what got you first into training? And if I was a fly, honestly, what was that? Were you still living with your parents during that time?
Yeah.
Were you with family?
You know, I'm old. I'm super old. So if you can just picture like communistic country of Yugoslavia back in 60s. I was born 64, right? It's all controlled. You don't see much. I mean, yeah, of course there is many sports, but usually you work hard for the money, and people don't have a extra time to do many other things except sports that you choose, and usually it's just soccer and basketball. That's what we are known for. Obviously now tennis because of Djokovic and water polo and all this stuff. But my father was a doctor, a neuropsychiatrist, and his good friend was the judo teacher, right? So he wanted me to learn the discipline of martial arts, right? But again, I don't know what it is when you're young. Somehow you never want to listen to your parent, So I just wanted to, change and go to something else. I went to karate instead. But after I trained karate, I realized that karate is not an Olympic sport and judo is. So I switched to judo to represent my country. And in one of those workouts, I do remember that there was a guy that came with some kind of magazine, right? And magazine was with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover. It was not Flex from the United States. It was something from Germany, right? And I just remember this is the first time in my life seeing muscular body like that. Up until that point, I mean, right now it's hard to believe that story, right? But you don't see anybody around yourself, that is so muscular. There was black and white television with 2 channels. You don't see much there anywhere. So it was the first time that I've seen that, human body can look like this. And right away, right at that moment is what I need to do to look like that, right? Because I figure, man is supposed to be strong and muscular. So that's how I started. And immediately I got some weights and started building up.
Yeah.
How exciting is it? I mean, all of us. I know, Niall, you told me when you first started training, you're overtraining a lot, I remember. Mm-hmm. But I just remember how excited I was every day after school to go to the gym. I couldn't wait to go to the gym. I would go to Chuck E. Cheese's and I would get a power bar and a water, and then I'd walk to the gym and just train. And then I remember looking at all the big guys. I'm like, this is so fucking awesome. And I want to do it every day. I was so excited. But when you're young and you're a fan of it, you know what I mean? That thrill. Oh my God. You look at the magazine and you're like, yes, Mom, I get this magazine. She's like, yeah, just one. I'm like, muscle and fitness or flex? Flex. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, because you're younger. I mean, Niall, I watch your Instagram, and I know that you were kind of overweight kid, right? And that's what made you do it, right?
Destroy Chinese buffets.
Is that it?
Yeah, and Wendy's Baconators.
Baconators.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, there was just in the country that I was, that was not normal thing to do, right? And then if you start, building up the muscle, what is that for? It was just not normal. But I right away had that desire that I'm going to represent my country in Miss Universe and be on Miss Olympia stage one day. You know,
Yeah.
like stupid of Yugoslavian kid to think about it, but hey, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did.
That's fucking sick, dude. And make sure you have like big dreams as a teenager, I think is an important thing. I think there's a lot of teenagers that feel lost these days. Like a lot.
Yeah, a lot. A real lot. I think more than ever, to be honest. I mean, I always thought it was a little strange. When I was growing up, a lot of my friends didn't have like a passion like I did. I always had something I was hyper focused on. BMX, motocross, lifting. I was always enthralled. Then I had a group of people that did it, but I know a lot of people that like after school, they just didn't do anything. And they're like, they weren't really like into anything, like at all. You know, I'm just hanging out. Maybe play a little video game, a little Sega Genesis. And like, it's just different, you know? But now I feel like a lot more kids just don't know what to do. And Instagram doesn't help.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I mean, I do believe like back when, well, social media and a lot of people in social media kind of inspired me too. Like I love bodybuilding, but I didn't really believe that it, you know, at the time men's physique didn't exist. So I was like, you know, how achievable is this really? But there were still creators out there like Matt Ogus, who was creating YouTube videos on like how to count your macros, like these giant ass fucking salad bowls. He was like getting shredded 8-pack abs on 4,000 calories. And I'm like, this is the key. This is exactly what I need to do. Because if I can get shredded on 4,000 calories at a Chinese buffet, then that's what I want to do. But then I guess I've realized at this point in time, I'm seeing a lot of videos, and I don't want to point fingers, but Greg, you know who you are. There's videos that people will post of like natty or nots, for example, or like trying to call people out, I guess, on whether or not they're achieving a physique with what they say they are. But I've noticed that what it's doing to a lot of people is kind of just crushing people's hopes. And it's kind of, they're like trying to say that younger kids should understand what's achievable. But in return, it's causing a lot of them to kind of throw away some of their dreams and their aspirations. And you gotta understand, like, just because your aspiration's high and the risk of getting there is low doesn't mean you shouldn't keep shooting for it, because that's going to get you somewhere big. Like, I wouldn't have this platform if I thought that way when I was a kid, or someone was trying to tell me that it was worthless. Like my parents were.
Are you saying that some people are discouraging kids, or like, hey, don't have a dream, there's no way you can be that way? Is this what you're saying?
I feel like there's a lot of discouragement these days. Yeah.
Well, on that note, I mean,
which I think is just unwarranted.
I'm a kid from Yugoslavia, right? When I was saying that I'm going to come to America and compete in Mr. Olympia, I was laughing stock of a nation. Like, you're going to do that?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. What do you mean? I'm somehow physically inferior to what Americans, or, you know, a certain race or nationality? Or, what do you mean? All of us, for any of those discouraged kids, they think it's impossible. Why would it be impossible? It's a human body, it's human cell, right? Building the muscle, being disciplined, eating, resting, training, and maybe do some of pharmacology, something that the big boys do. Mm-hmm. It's going to get you there. I'm really bothered by that you said that there was some people, they're saying like, oh, you have no chance. I had a few of the clients that basically came to me because some of the famous coaches told them there's no way in hell they're going to turn pro. And then they turn pro, obviously, you know, because you get that little extra incentive.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, my approach to anything I've ever done in my life is I started doing it because I like to do it. I didn't want to become BMX and be like, I want to be like Dave Mirra. I just wanted to do BMX. You know what I mean? Like, it was just fun, and then getting better at it. So like, when someone comes to me and they're like, Chris, do you think I could turn pro? I'm like, let's not worry about if we're going to turn pro. Let's win our first show first. Let's win our first show. And then, okay, we won our first show. Okay, let's go to nationals. Let's get top 5 call out. All right, got top 5 call out. All right, let's get our pro card. I got our pro card. Chris, you go to Olympia? I don't know. Let's get a top 5 at a pro show first. Let's work your way up to it. Whether you make it or not, it's still going to be one hell of an experience. And you're going to learn so much.
Yeah.
Like, all the experiences I've had, BMXing and motocross and bodybuilding, did I make it as far as like I would wanted it to? No, but I loved every minute of it. I learned so much from it, and I would go back and do it again. So like, I don't like when people discourage, and I don't like when people just, they're trying to create content, so they just use negativity shit, right? I'm going to criticize what other people are doing and expose them. Well, sometimes it's warranted. I mean, Lane Norton does a good job, but like, you know, when it's not warranted, just to create a platform, and then because a lot of young kids don't have self-confidence like they used to, you know, they're lacking and they need help, and they should pursue anything that makes them happy and they like to do it. Do it.
Yes.
Do it to the fullest.
Yep.
See if you like it. If you don't like it, don't do it. But don't get discouraged and listen to these people who just tell you to give up, because that's just, it's crap.
Honestly,
I agree with you completely. Just I'm going to mention this because I remember, Niall, you see yourself as a classic Mr. Olympia champion. I got that from our interview that we had. So it's very important. So Chris, for example, Niall already see himself a winner. One of the biggest regrets that I have now when I look back is at all that time, I also enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoy all the tours and all that stuff, but I never had that mentality of the winner like Nick Walker has, or, you know, somebody else, like, I'm going to win, you know, and I wish I did. So I understand, go step by step, win this first, then go pro, then win this. But shoot high, you know, shoot high, because now when I look back, I mean, I competed in the 90s, the hardest era, and I managed to beat some of the great guys, like I always mention, you know, Dexter Jackson or Kevin Lebroni once, or you know, Ronnie many times when Ronnie was drug free, but doesn't matter, you know. But I never really thought that I can win the Olympia. And if I had that little extra drive, maybe I would put a little bit extra work. Maybe. That's why, you can have a short-term goals and long-term goals. I had on this book, it's very important that I mentioned. When I was coming to America, I had a 5-year goal. Win Mr. Universe first, come to the United States of America, which was impossible from the Yugoslavian guy. Then win Mr. Universe, turn my ApoB pro, qualify for Mr. Olympia, and make a living off of bodybuilding. That was my 5-year thing. I wrote it on a front page.
Yeah.
I came 87, October 17. I won Universe 89. I turned pro 91. I qualified for Olympia 91. I got my contract from Wheeler 92. I was making a living off of it. So I did everything in that span. But I wish I did put number 6, win Mr. Olympia. I did. It was just like, okay, I stepped, be realistic. Well, sometimes, why be realistic? You know what I mean? Chris, like right now you have a Jordan Hutchinson, right, guy. And I know a lot of your whole story, and you go step by step by step. But you guys should shoot that high.
No, we are. We have plans.
And so, I mean, I got this from that conversation with Niall right away. I mean, he realized how good he is, and you want to win Mr. Classic Olympia. Did you give yourself a time frame?
I would. The time frame I'm looking for is hopefully 5 years. But to be honest, so my belief is, and it's a little bit based off of Buddhism, but that expectations are totally different from goals and desires, like what your vision is. Like you can shoot for a goal that you want really badly and continue to act in that fashion. Like, this is the kind of person I want to be, so I'm going to continue to act that way. I'm going to continue to do the work that I'm supposed to as that person would. I'm going to continue to make the decisions that person would. I would continue to train, eat the diet, do whatever cycling or do whatever like health protocols I'm supposed to as that person would, and continue to work towards that direction, versus having expectations that you're going to win Mr. Olympia. That's completely different.
That's a good point. That's a wicked good point.
So that's the mindset that I try to maintain at all times.
Yeah, because I've seen those people who are like getting ready for a show and they're like, Chris, can you take a look at me real quick? Just give me your quick opinion. I'm like, yeah, man, sure. Take a look at me like, well, I'm 10 weeks out to the show. I'm going to win. I'm like, look, it's great. And then like they don't win and they freak the fuck out. And then they're crush themselves because like there's a different way, right, of looking at it. It's your goal, you're shooting for it, you're having the belief of, but like you I don't know, some people who do that kind of set themselves up for disappointment. Like you have to understand that like anybody can show up. You can believe that you can win, that's fine. But if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't mean you melt down.
Yeah. Yeah. The Buddhist, it's a Buddhist saying, expectations are suffering.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like if people ever study Stoicism, the idea behind it is all about acting in a certain way, acting how a man should. And I feel like understanding that and wanting to be that person makes it easy for you to act in that fashion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. I love that type of stuff.
What was your style of training when you first started training, though? And how old were you when you first started training, Milos? Like, what was that age?
So I think Chris mentioned it. Once we started, it was like, I can't have enough of it. You know, I was training like 4 hours a day, like any exercise every day, every muscle. You know, it was like no. First, mind you, there was no information. I told you I got the magazine of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I see, you know, what the body looks like. I didn't know that you should maybe have a different body parts on a different day, you know. So more I trained, the better. And needless to say, 4 hours a day, every single day, eating normal mom's cooking, breakfast, lunch, and dinner that was not oriented towards athletes or high protein, you know, bodybuilder diet. I got smaller after like first 3-4 months.
Oh, damn.
At that point, I started researching and trying to figure out. I mean, literally speaking, I didn't know the exercises for each muscle group. It was just like guessing it, and then which muscle would hurt next day, right? When you start bodybuilding back in, you know, early 70s, you don't have a instructional manual, and anybody tell you go slow negative and contract on positive and have a peak contraction and mind muscle connection or anything like that. So it was just like exercise until along the way you start, you know, getting in the groove and feeling it. And then some body parts would just explode and some would just not respond at all. But I was always high volume, super high volume. And as I discussed this for all of us in the 90s, the way they were trained, we were training 6 days a week, twice a day. Each body part would be hit at least twice a week, right? And there was no such a thing as overtraining. But soon enough, when I started getting a little bit more into the bodybuilding, I got some information about Arnold's workouts. And if you remember, Arnold would do like 5 sets per exercise, 5 exercises per body part. And then he would do like that push, pull legs. I mean, you try everything and anything. So it was never really anything super heavy, but it was progressive overload with a normal, maybe 12, 15, 10, 6 to 8, and then 1, 6 to 8 with the force reps. You know, they're just basic one.
Yeah. When I first started to weight train, I was 11, and it was for motocross, and the trainer had me do things like deadlift to walking lunge to overhead press to like a bench press and bent over barbell row. It was just like a circuit, and he made me do that, and then I would rest for 2 minutes. I would do it again, rest for 2 minutes, and then he had me sprint and like sprint really fast for 3 minutes, walk, and just basically motocross training, more of a CrossFit style. But my body responded. I remember people in the 6th grade, I was like this like pool party, at the end of the year, and these girls like, oh my God, Chris has abs and shoulders. And I was just like, oh, I didn't even know. I thought every guy had stuff like this. Because like one of my other friends was pretty muscular, and we'd always like arm wrestle each other and like wrestle, like who can climb trees faster. So we all, how many pull-ups could you do? And I could do a shit ton of pull-ups in high school. And that's how it started. And then that's how I wanted to get into bodybuilding, because my body responded to that. And then I started looking at magazines and copying it. My motocross trainer would look at me and be like, why are your arms growing? And I'm like, you doing curls? And I go, no. And he's like, bullshit. He goes, you want to be a motocrosser or do you want to lift weights? What do you want to do? And like, I would get off the track and like, he would take the suspension and then turn it all stiff. So then my arms would pump up. And I'd come on the track. I'm like, he's like, what's the matter? You can't hold on to handlebars? He's like, yeah, because big arms don't work in motocross, bro.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. But that's how it started for me. And I couldn't wait to bodybuild after I finished motocross.
It's funny. What a dick. Trying to fucking inhibit gains is crazy.
If I could tell you actually one story now that I don't think I ever said it. I went to a gym. I lived in a small city of Becce, so we had the art gym. I went to Novi Sad once, which is a bigger city in like 50 kilometers from north of Belgrade, capital. And I walked in the gym, and there was, at that time, I thought I was super old, 62-year-old man, which now I'm 62. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. I'm the same age as old people. But this guy was an old gymnast, and he was doing a super wide grip behind the neck pull-ups. Okay. Mm-hmm. And having a conversation with a guy, he must do like over 50. I mean, it's one of those things that none of us could ever do, because he's a gymnast, and I guess upper body strength was just crazy. And then along the way, of course, it got my attention, and I started looking at everything that he was doing. And he was saying to this guy next to him, can you just squeeze your left side delt and, right lower chest, or, quadriceps, lateral portion of a quadriceps, just like one muscle at a time. I am controlled to do these kind of things, right? Obviously, guy squeezes and everything pops. Like he couldn't isolate that one. Mm-hmm. And then he started doing it in front of him, and I'm just like, just name the muscle, rear delt, chest, whatever. And he was in complete control of singular muscle on the whole body, right? And it's super hard thing to do. And of course, now I'm there, so like when they're not looking like, okay, let me squeeze my lateral quad, but then I squeeze the whole quad, right? And this is that little trick. If anybody listening, if you can completely right now at your home in isolation, hit and squeeze one particular muscle and not surrounding, you would know exactly how to train to the perfection, because you can always isolate that muscle completely.
Gotcha. I see.
You see that in weightlifters and weightlifters and powerlifters, especially weightlifters. It's like they're so used to using all the muscles like in unison to create that forceful production. And then you try to be like, isolate your upper chest. And they're like, they can't. Everything just contracts together.
Yeah. It takes a practice, but it's very possible to do.
Yeah.
Well, how useful, if you're an athlete, of course, your body works as a unison and you want all the supporting muscle groups. But that was that one thing of conversation. I never even talked to the guy. I just overheard the conversation. I was kind of embarrassed because first, I could never do the pull-ups like this old man was doing, pisses me off, right? And you start, firing every single muscle, like, just biceps, just triceps, just this, just that. Like, holy hell. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
How old were you when you first started training?
I was 17, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, 1981.
Gotcha. Chris beat me by a year. It's bullshit. What do you guys feel like was the biggest change in your training where you saw the most gains? Like this was like, all right, this clicked for me.
Oh, go ahead, Chris. I don't know.
Mine's real quick. High school, I started training with Dave Anderson. If you're listening, Dave, this dude was benching 405 in high school natural. And
Holy shit.
yeah, and he was only like 195 pounds, 205
I hate those kind of
pounds.
people, honestly.
So strong. But my legs are stronger and I could deadlift more. So it was better back then. But anyway, I started training with him and he did a lot of volume. I was going to the gym and doing like one working set per exercise, maybe 2 exercises, and and just not really, I guess, doing as much volume.
One working set per exercise, and then maybe 2 exercises.
I would pyramid up and then do a heaviest weight and then be done with that exercise, and then move on to the next exercise. And Dave was just like, you get to his heaviest weight, and then you do like 4 sets of the heavy weight, and then go on to the next exercise. So I started training with Dave, and we were like going to Boston Market every day after school, eating a whole chicken and stuffing and mashed potatoes and going to training for 2 hours. Yeah. And dude, I put on a lot of muscle. I got stretch marks in my biceps. I got stretch marks in my chest, and I didn't use any gear in high school. But that's where fundamentally, like, it started to improve and being very consistent. Yeah.
I see.
I couldn't really tell you that there was any major thing for me that I changed. Obviously, I started not knowing the exercises, not knowing which muscle and how to do it, speed, tempo, rep, range, and all that stuff. But it just all came naturally, and then I was just, building on it. Obviously, the major thing came 87 when I introduced the steroids, obviously. And steroids.
How old was that? How old were you at that age?
1987, 23.
23. Gotcha.
Because keep in mind, I came from Yugoslavia. Like I said, there was not much information. Information that was in Yugoslavia at the time. I remember there was all the booklets. Anabolic steroids like so dangerous and not useful. They don't do nothing for performance. They don't do nothing. It's just like harm. Yeah, there's no point of taking them, right? So I had that magazine with Arnold and Lou Ferrino, right, from Germany, and say like no anabolics, right? So I came to America believing that all these bodies are natural. I went to Miss Universe to compete naturally, right? Mm-hmm. And I said it. I think I told you, Chris, when they asked me like what was I using. And I told them amino acids and vitamins, and they told me, fuck you, right? And I don't speak English, but I know what that means. And I didn't understand really, like, okay, so I better not speak because, they're pissed off at whatever I'm saying. But they didn't believe that I was drug-free because it's just like a normal thing to do. So I went to California. I entered a couple of more shows. Some amateur Ironman, some whatever, Super Bowl bodybuilding, I remember. So I realized soon enough, I came here to compete and be Mr. Olympia, and I'm losing to the locals. And why? Because they're doing what they're doing. So if I needed to join the big boys, I had to do what the big boys do. Yeah. And that was like 87, I do remember. And so when I decided to do it, like, of course, scared shitless, like everybody should be. Then, at the time you don't have information, you shouldn't be just doing anything just because. But, once I started, I could feel why is doping, why, the people taking superior physically, how much muscle they can put and then what kind of workouts they can handle. It was just really, I catch that from your podcast. A lot of you guys still don't believe maybe stories from the 90s, like what we were saying that we were using, it just doesn't look believable. But any of the guys that I know from the 90s, we were pretty much, I'm going to tell you a very short a statement. You are on a cycle. If there was 8, 10, 12, 16 weeks, somebody would maybe go 24. Then we will go at least half time off. So if you're 8 weeks on, 4 weeks off, 10 weeks on, 5 weeks off. Mm-hmm. And when we were off, we were literally off of everything. There was PCT, right? But there was no like cruising and bridging and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That was me from the beginning. That was everybody else that I worked with at the time. You mentioned like Kevin Lebronia, like 6 months on, 6 months off. And, Kevin was known for disappearing and then looking like a swimmer. And 6 weeks later, he was like a top 2 Mr. Olympia, You've seen Arnold back in the day, right? There's a lot. If you look pictures of Arnold along the way, and then you see the dates, like, whoa, Arnold looked like a crazy Mr. Olympia in these shows, and then a few months later, he looked quite normal, and then he would get back and be jacked again. Sean Ray was doing like 6 months on, 6 months off, right? So in general, when we were doing cycles and I had journals of everything, normally 12 or 16 weeks would be before the contest, right? That would be the cycle. And then you would try to be at least 8 weeks off and sometimes more. So this is really how it was. And obviously, when you're on a cycle, you can tell the major differences. And then, of course, when you're off the cycle, the goal was always to train just as intense or try even harder. So my training partner, he was a powerlifter from San Diego, David Fletcher. He would always be there that we have to train harder when we are off than when we are on, because it's easy to train hard when you're on. And diet wouldn't change. I know that nowadays people are like having off-season. My diet didn't change for 20-something years. Off-season, pre-contest, there's minuscule differences, right? And then just implementation of pharmacology and then losing some body fat for the show. But the same eating habits, Chris knows very well.
Yeah.
I was 450 to 550 grams of protein daily for 15 years straight. Probably overkill, right? Probably overkill. But I would never go lesser, because in my mind, it's better to have more and let the body convert some into glucose if need be. I was on very low fats all the time, so my calories are from protein and carbs.
That's wild, man. 400 to... And I'm pretty sure Chris told me, too, at one point, you were just like, yeah, I never had any problems with digestion, ever.
Yeah,
Also.
I remember. Yeah, you were like, what's wrong with my digestion? I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I heard also, again, Dr. Dean was saying something about that thing, hydrochloric acid or some digestive enzymes. The only time I tried it because Charles Pollock, a good friend of mine, strength coach from Canada,
Yeah,
we did a lot of things together. And he was like, man, why don't you just like take a couple of Bactine when you have the big old steak and, see if you can tell the difference. And I didn't feel any difference, right? I didn't need it, right? So he would always recommend a high protein meal. He would pop like those 2 Bactines. I didn't need to. Ever.
Crazy. Just built a digestive system of steel from so much protein. What if you could just like adapt
Some
into an
people-
enhanced human?
Dude, Niall, there's people out there, like I have some friends, they could eat a pizza and then go run 10 miles and like they don't burp once. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like they just have digestion that's just like they can digest rocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfair.
Yeah.
Do you still feel the same way that you did back then regarding your insulin protocols?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and by all means, listen, now I think that you're a gentleman, so you maybe don't want to put me in the deep waters, because I understand that a lot of people are against it. And a lot of people, call me the crazy scientist and point fingers that I brought like the evil thing into the bodybuilding. So
I don't think it's evil.
so let's just talk about this one. You train, okay, for me, idea of going from Yugoslavia into the America and being on Mr. Olympia, I have to maximize everything, maximize my nutrition. So there is no bullshit for me to eat shit or eat calories. No, eat nutrients. I need to be having my macronutrients and micronutrients. So that's covered maximally. Good. Training stimulation also, do you stimulate or annihilate or overtrain. I don't know. I think that was covered. Pharmacology, anabolic agents. Okay. I want to increase protein synthesis. I want to build the tissue. So what anabolically I can use that makes sense. Okay. Anabolics, I did it. Growth hormone, does it make sense? Doesn't make sense? Yes, it makes sense. We all did it. And then there was that insulin. Oh, okay. Insulin is anabolic hormone, storage hormone. Should be used, shouldn't be used. Of course, it can be an absolutely best friend if you use it at the right time in the right way, or worst enemy if you're doing it wrongly. So my insulin protocols are like when the insulin is welcome to my body, when it should be here, when I can only have a right nutrients because it's not selective. It would take everything that is there. Everything means glucose, amino acids, positive, and triglycerides, negative, right? So if I have shitload of fat and insulin is here, now it's going to store that triglyceride, guarantee. There's no way out around it, okay? So this is how I'm going to get negative results. So I will ensure that I use insulin and, manage my onset, peak, and duration at a time when it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And for me is when my blood is in the muscle, when I'm training and contracting, and there's all that the interaction, with the cellular content. So I saturate the blood with something and I put insulin in it. Insulin is taking everything out of the blood into first available tissues and cells. Only available tissues and cells are muscle cells because blood is there. Okay? So how can this be negative? And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need it. You don't need it. Like, well, also the science and practice. I tried and I exploded. And anybody that did it with me exploded as well, right? Mm-hmm. Right? They start abusing it, using it wrongly, throwing in some fats with it, and then using maybe a long-acting as well. If it's present, right, it's not selective. So these long-acting insulins, if you eat any fats throughout the day, the insulin can trap it and store it. Why would I want to do that? So I would only use short-acting insulins, Humalog. There is 15 minutes onset, 45 minutes peak, and duration is maximally 3 to 4 hours. So I can control that. The only time I was using longer acting is on a carb load day, because carb load in the day, you constantly want to just push everything in it. Mm-hmm. So that's in short how I was using it.
How much do you feel like that muscle gain when you blew up was real tissue versus, say, water?
Real tissue. Okay, how much real tissue you have right this moment? You have 60, 70% water, right? Okay, so if you really measure your lean tissue, muscle is 70% water. So if I tell you that I could gain 20 pounds without putting in a gram of body fat, what I'm going to say, how much tissue is that? Maybe 30% of that would be a tissue, because 70% is water.
I know what he's saying, because like people have, done insulin and then they're still the same weight on stage the following year. And that's what they mean. But like, listen, I'm not against insulin. I'm just saying that people don't use it correctly. I don't know what else they're doing, but that was basically the question, right? It's kind of like, you see some guys use insulin, they blow up, and then every year they're around the same weight again on stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, listen, back in the 90s, like 99 Olympia, maybe Lee Priest was not on it. Because Lee, when Dexter Jackson wasn't on it.
I can picture ladies getting irritated, like, this is dumb, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. But pretty much everybody else was. Now I have to add that Sean Ray was not on it also. Yeah. But you could see, like, some major players, we were all using it. Why we were using it? Because we're working. But it's very specific, and it can backfire for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's definitely anecdotes of guys who have used insulin and also blew the fuck up with, like, in stage weight too. One of my podcasts with Joe Palacios, He said when he gained the most weight, and I think it was maybe the year he gained like close to 20 pounds in his stage weight, that may have been the one year that he implemented some consistent insulin use.
No?
But I do believe, if it's true, he said that he had GH and then he ran out and then he wasn't able to like restock for a long ass period of time. So he ended up doing his normal gear protocol, which I think test was like at least at a gram at that point.
Mm.
But then regular use of insulin and then just no GH. And he also had a little bit of dirty bulking in there and he blew the fuck up.
Bulk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he blew up. Well, listen, what I say to when people tell me that is, that's one person. And we have a lot of people who have very individual responses.
Right,
I
yeah.
Dude, I know somebody who was competing natural in NPC and winning class, won a show natural. And then he took 50 mgs of Winstrol a day for 6 weeks and he looked fucking retarded. And then his first year competing, he put on like 15, 20 pounds with just 500 mgs a test.
Jesus.
Like those people exist. But the problem is we hear those people and then we're like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like individual response is key, is something people need to understand. Some people are born a Ferrari. Some people are born a Volkswagen Beetle. Sorry, that's just how it is. Nothing you can do to that type of car to make it a Ferrari. And then the other thing is, if somebody's like, I've seen this happen before, is someone, their blood sugars genetically, they have type 2 diabetes in their family. They're pushing a shit ton of food and they just don't have good glycemic control. And then you give them a little bit of insulin with no growth and then they just respond. I could think of 2 clients that I have that like, your blood sugars are waking up at 115. Their postprandial blood glucose is like 160. And like, they're not in any growth hormone. And then you give them just a little bit of Humulin R just twice per day. And they just start putting on weight and start responding.
That's a good point, honestly. Plus, Joe is definitely a genetic freak. Like, if you look at him in his early 20s before he was competing, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to tell you now also to now think about this. If this is a blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we sprinkle amino acids and glucose and anything else right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we start training and this blood starts moving into exact muscle contraction, biceps contracting, okay? And I put the insulin here. What insulin does, take out of the blood into the first available tissues and cells. Mm-hmm. So it directs its transporter. Where is transporting? Exactly when I want to be transported in. So why wouldn't I put that transporter in when I'm training? Because hyperemia advantage system, right? We have 5-6 liters of blood. Right now, 10% is in the muscle. When we train, 60-70% can go into exact muscle fibers. Muscle contraction, muscles open up the cells ready for uptake. It's all there. So for me, losing that opportunity is, like my father said once, what's the point of sending the empty airplane from Belgrade to whatever, America? Empty airplane. Put the passengers in.
Mm.
Why put the empty blood through the muscles when they're working? So for me, it was always making sense. I'm going to nourish it as I'm training. Yeah, you're supposed to lose the glycogen storage, create macrophage over muscle fibers, be catabolic, and then after the training, resend it. But why lose this opportunity? Okay, I never read that anywhere that I should be doing this, but that made sense. My father told me this. Why would you not put amino acid and glucose, when you go to training?
Yeah.
87, before I came to America, I was having essential amino acids from the pharmacy in Serbia. Okay, you can get for renal patients, and I said that once. I learned in the Latin language to write my own prescriptions. I stole my father's prescription book when I was writing the essential amino acids, this SS. And I was going everywhere to all the pharmacies and I got shitload of amino acids. Dextrose was available in any supermarket. So I had a dextrose and amino acids for every workout. Okay, just that. Essential aminos and dextrose. I competed drug-free, and people would, assume I was not. I just posted yesterday my also 86 photo. I look drug-free anyway, on my Instagram. But I was getting results, from that. And I wasn't even using insulin. So later when I understood the concept, wait a second. So if I took a little bit of supraphysiological amount of the strong, potent hormone that job is to store whatever I have available. If I make only good things available and I have shitload of it, okay, it's only good things are going to happen. And that was the whole idea. I mean, Dennis James is going to tell you he put the 44 pounds in the first month. And, many other guys at that time, from Gustavo Badal to anybody I worked with, I really blew up. And then Chad was working with Ronnie, with Chris Cormier, with whoever else. And I'm sure they can tell you the same stories if they're going to be open.
Yeah. Real quick, guys. So while I was looking at the YouTube analytics, I actually saw that 85% of you guys that watch this channel are not subscribed. And I want to ask very little of you guys, but if you enjoy this podcast, if you find value in it, then please do me this one favor and subscribe to the channel, because doing so helps me get bigger and greater guests like the guests you are listening to today. Also, this channel is not sponsored, which means only the companies that I work with, which are Young LA and Huge Supplements, are the companies that can help fund this channel by you guys using the code NILE. So code NILE gives you a discount of 15% off of Young LA, and code NILE also gives you a discount of 10% off of Huge Supplements. And if you decide to purchase anything from any of these companies, it will help immensely for me by using my code. And this way, I can travel to other guests and also upgrade an equipment to make this podcast bigger and better for you guys. Okay, I got one. So if you guys were to go back in time and you had 1 year for you to gain the most quality muscle that you could possibly gain, knowing what you know now after all these years of coaching and having podcasts and all this shit, I know it's going to be a lot, but what would you do?
That'd be a dream.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can go first.
Chris, you look like you still look. I still have Q&As, by the way, of just asking, like, Chris, how the fuck do you still look like this right now?
Oh, dude. Could you go ahead, Milos? You tell your story. I'm like, that's going to be. Could you imagine? Oh, my God.
I'm going to stick to my thing. I never went more than 750 milligrams of testosterone a week. Ever. I would still probably keep 750. Maybe I could lower it to 500, but 750 was no problem. And it could be testosterone or any ester. It doesn't matter, right? I'm not into this daily bullshit, daily intake. You take 3 times a week, every other day, that's more than enough.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, so as far as anabolics, really, when Dorian was saying back in the day that we really did 2 or 3 parabolan a week, which was 76 milligrams of Chamberlain, that's exactly what it was. And should I do more? You cannot get parabolan anymore the way we were, but like 300 milligrams of Tren a week would be more than sufficient. Masterone, yeah.
So wait. Are you saying that you'd use less or use more?
No, we use 3 a week.
Right. What I'm saying is he's asking if you were going to change something.
Like no, I wouldn't. I think the 300 milligrams would be more than enough, Yeah, because I would much rather combine. I would combine with the both Masteron and Primo too. I like that combo. So I could possibly do the 300 of each, Tren, Masteron, and the Primo.
Okay.
But Milos, check this out. If you knew, this is a good question. This is exactly, I'm going to spin your question, Niall. If you knew earlier that dudes were using gear, would you have started earlier than 23?
Possibly, yes. Possibly. Listen, why don't we start, because we are afraid of, right? This is a major thing. None of us starting, or because we heard it's dangerous and it's not necessary, or I just want to be ethical and be natural.
I have an intervention though. I think there's some kids, or I don't want to say it this way. I think there's some people that are not quite aware of like their how they handle things mentally, or where their mental mind, where their mindset is, or I don't know. Like I don't mean to shots at any particular group, but for example, there's a lot of women that feel like have if you ask them what they wanted when they were 20 to 23 years old, they'd say they had no fucking clue. And a lot of them have gone through journeys of, for example, like coming off of birth control and then realizing like, holy shit, like I went crazy. I was on SSRIs. I went like crazy. I couldn't handle myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know who I was. The way that I would react emotionally to things was just in a way that I wouldn't react nowadays. Normally I'd take a step back now and look at it in a more logical picture. I think there's a lot of people maybe like in their early 20s, for example, that may be in this position. And that's where it's hard for you to make that decision if you want to jump on hormones or not. Because then if you are in this position where you're already vulnerable as a sober person to, I don't know, things that are happening outside of your control, then what happens when you jump on hormones that are changing your perspective and making you feel more aggressive and making you more emotional?
It's a really good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, Chris asked me particularly, you guys already know that I was coming to America to turn professional bodybuilder and compete in Mr. Olympia. So for me, that was the option. Of course, had I known that people were using already and that I'm going to have to do it, I would probably do it earlier. Me, with the direction, that I wanted to go, I wanted to be pro bodybuilder. So until that point, I didn't really know that it's so prevalent and that makes such a difference. You make that, am I making myself clear? For regular people, why would not people do it? Because they're afraid of consequences and all this stuff. But interesting, I'm going to tell you, now all these people, they're afraid of steroids. They jumped on the SARMs as soon as they came out. They jump on peptides and everything. They have no problem injecting and doing something, but they had a problem using anabolic steroids. I said it publicly before, anabolic steroids, if used wisely, can enhance your health. It's a no-brainer. But anyway, so as my cycle, I would definitely do my insulin protocol. I still always believed it, that right before the training, 45 minutes before, and right after the training. And my dosages were from 10 to 20 units prior to the training, according to the body part, and 20 units after the training. Yes, I did many times 20-20, before and after. And yes, if I would be in that crazy zone and I would train twice a day, I would have done, for both workouts. Yeah.
Gotcha. What do you, I think Dave Palumbo believes that if you, depending on how much insulin you inject at a certain time, that you could potentially create less insulin than you would naturally. Does that make sense?
You mean a negative feedback loop? You take insulin, your body produces less? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. Like you're saying,
of course. Your body will release less. There's less demand for it.
It's look, the reason why I would also use it, so I don't burn my beta cells of pancreas.
Right.
If I would use my, pre and intra-workout supplementation and put 100 grams of dextrose in it, right? I would force my pancreas to release so much insulin every single day. So if I do inject it first, then 15 minutes before my pre-workout, 45 minutes later, I will go to the gym and I'm going to keep sipping my intra-workout and maintain the glucose level and everything, right? I'm going to have enough glucose in my bloodstream and enough insulin that, theoretically speaking, my pancreas would not need to add it. So that's the exact purpose why I also did it. So not to force myself, to beta cells burn out daily 2 workouts with all the glucose.
Yeah, giving a little
the
bit.
Same Charles Poliquin, strength coach that I talked to you about, he was using 200 grams of dextrose immediately after the workout without injectable insulins. So imagine what is 200 grams of dextrose load on a pancreas. Like how much you're going to have.
That's big. It's big.
It's huge. Yeah.
Huge.
So when I actually I presented this once in front of the Swiss convention, and there was some people like Dr. Berardi and the Mari Di Pasquale, and it made sense to them that if you use injectable insulin, you save your beta cells of pancreas.
You ready for my specificity?
Yes.
What I would change?
Very ready.
Oh my God. First and foremost, I wouldn't train like an asshole because I would just completely just obliterate my body all the time when I would train. I would be very controlled movements. I would have intention in what I was doing. Mind muscle connection, moving the weight with the muscle instead of just positioning myself to be the most mechanically advantageous. I would take feedback into my recovery. I would listen to my feedback, make sure I'm recovering and progress from there. But the training is probably the number one biggest thing I would change because I was lifting as heavy as I possibly could and just killing myself. 4 or 5 force reps on squats. I remember collapsing and dropping the bar on Evan before, like just doing dumb shit. And I've got hurt a lot of times and a lot of injuries sidelined me. So that's 1. 2, gear wise, I would stay, honestly, if I had to go back, I would probably do the same damn thing again with test deck and Debo because it works so fucking well. As soon as I started getting complicated with hearing all these other things that people did, which is when I started to make slower ground. One of the best cycles I ever ran was actually just test and growth together. I put on like 13 pounds of stage weight in 6 months.
Wow.
And I did use insulin for that.
Do you remember how much GH?
Yeah, 4 IUs. That's all I could afford. It was
gotcha.
technically it was at 3.8 because it's 1.8. I can tell you right now. Hold on. As I remember. 1.8 times 5.4 IUs. 5.4 IUs of Acerostim. And I used 10 IUs of Humulin R twice per day. And I grew. And I would also pay real close attention to my nutrition in regards to maintaining good appetite and digestion, because I did kind of get into the attitude of, I got to keep eating, force feeding, get too fat. Then your appetite's shit. And then your sleep falls apart. And then you just feel like a giant piece of shit. So I would keep that in check. And I really do feel that I would have made a disgusting ground if I had myself as a coach going way back to the very beginning. There's no question. Because I do feel like I know I don't have bad genetics, but like a lot of injury, a lot of dumb things I've done. But that's for sure. There's no question. I wouldn't really change much about the gear. I learned my lessons. I tried to do 1,500 milligrams of test per week. I felt like crap. And then I lowered it back down to 750. And that was kind of like my favorite area to be.
I've heard a lot of people really just like 750 better because they feel worse, higher. I mean, there's just
there's that therapeutic range of a drug where like the best return to side effect ratio, benefit to side effect ratio,
Okay, back in the 90s, I had many guys. Okay, they're not going to even complain if I said Troy Alves or Johnny Jackson or Dennis James. They wouldn't even want to go 750. They were using 500.
Damn.
Yeah. So it is for me, I always felt comfortable with 750, right? And then you add something. But some guys back in the day, like, oh man, I can't do so much. And then I have other coming to me from other coaches and, oh, come on, man. I was doing 2,000. What do you want me to do now? Say, why would you take 2,000? Yeah. So
crazy, but
you did mention something very, very good there. Holy grail of cycles in the 70s was Decadebo and test.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
And you grow like a maniac. But then again, now I'll ask the question, if you have a 1 year and knowing now what you knew then, like which drugs would I combine, right? So yeah, you sure wouldn't use Decadebo to the show, right? Mm-hmm. So when you my concept of bodybuilding was that I'm ready at all times. I competed 72 times as a pro, right? I did every photo shoot I was ever asked, many guest posing and all this stuff. So I was maintaining lean tissue all the time. I wouldn't allow myself to be, what do you say, fat piece of shit or something. What is it?
Yeah.
Like a tick.
I don't even want to be a fat piece of shit, to be honest. I
Yeah,
would rather
I
stay
mean,
lean.
It's the worst feeling ever.
Let's face it, all of us want to be preferably in contest shape year round if that would be healthy and if it's possible. But I was at a close distance, so that's why some of my guys, I coached them for like 3 years. Diet that I'm sending them is plus minus maintaining protein all the time, okay, and good fats all the time. The only thing that varies is carbs. Obviously, I want to push as much carbs, not to make them fat. And that's the only thing that determines, like, okay, who can have a super high carbs and who can't. And insulin, yes. A lot of people complain about insulin. Why they complain? Because they didn't really do it right way. If you start with the body parts that you really need to jack, right? If something is missing, dedicate your day and do the pre and post workout protocol and see what happens. And just exclude possibility to store any body fat by not having fats around. Have a super high protein, super high carbs, on that day and see what happens. I wouldn't be saying this to try to trick somebody. Just like I experienced the power of it. And especially like, okay, it's interesting. I think it's out just today. The new podcast, old school podcast, when Dennis and I talked to Chris Cormier and we talked about insulin. And then that was the first time he used it. You should check it out. It's very interesting. So Chris has a very bad memory. So he doesn't want to admit he was using it earlier than he did. And, but for example, Chris with the insulin, his chest blew up immediately, right? And you could see the Chris without it would be that flattish one. If anybody listening here right now has a chest issue, you want to blow up your chest, just do insulin on a chest day and see what happens. I mean, you will never go back, I guarantee you.
Well, I need to work on my chest, so.
Huh?
Humalog it is.
No, hold on. No, you never did the insulin for chest day?
Not for chest day yet.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yeah. I've done IGF-1 and a little bit of the smallest amount of insulin. I don't even know if it counts, to be honest. Patrick had 2 units. Post-workout for me. But anyways, I did that for legs, and my legs blew up over the last 2 years.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't want to interfere because Patrick is your coach, so I don't want to tell you, what to do. But I told Patrick back in the day, how to use it, and he should know. But for me, really, there's no better feeling than having a fully loaded chest. Chris, you did the chest day?
I used to use insulin all the time around training. Aceto had me do that.
Yeah, but especially for the chest. I mean, it's
I did. Oh yeah.
It's like so pumped that you can't even function.
Yeah. My pump came from when I started changing the way I train my chest the most.
But it would be excellent.
Would you say just like higher volume, not going to failure too early?
Like actually pushing the weight with the chest.
Okay.
Pushing the weight.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like it's funny. It's like, I love when people go, Chris, I haven't gotten any stronger in 2 years. I was like, bro, I was benching 4 or 5 for 5 reps when I was 25. And then when I was 35, I couldn't even come close to that, but my chest was twice the size because I stopped training like a weightlifter and I started training like a bodybuilder and started pushing, squeeze, pushing, squeeze.
Yeah.
Like when I was benching 4 or 5, I was like, just like ripping weight off my chest.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, rather if you mention that one, mine as well. Troy knows that I love him, Troy Alves. He came to train with me back in the day, and he would easily do 4 or 5 on inclines like nothing, and had a flat chest until I show him how to do it with the 2 plates, 225, right, and push for the chest, and his chest blew up. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I try to teach my guys that, and sometimes like they don't quite get it until I give them a drill, and the drill is this. They're like, I can't get my upper chest to fire. I'm like, okay, check this out. what do you do for 10 reps on incline dumbbell? And they're like, oh, well, I can do 120s for 10 reps on incline dumbbell. I'm like, okay, I want you to take 100-pound dumbbells and fail before 10 reps. And they're like, how do you do that? I'm like, well, you're going to figure it out. Just make sure if your life depended on it, you can't do more than 10 reps. And they messaged me that day. They're like, okay, I get it. I've never felt the pain in my chest like that my entire life because I had to do whatever I could to exhaust the chest with that 100-pound dumbbell. And I go, okay, great. Now start titrating your weight back up and maintain that connection, that squeeze. And then they get it. It's just like, some people just don't get it.
That's cool.
But that's formula for every exercise, for every muscle.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Please check out that old school podcast because, Dennis and I was jumping on Chris and he was just in denial. No, I didn't do it. I say, what do you mean, Chris, you didn't do it? Like, you get hypo in Hungary 97, it just happened for no reason, right? And then I guess they were flying to Australia and he asked Dennis if he had any insulin on a flight to Australia. 2 years before he admitted that he used it. I said, Chris, you just have a bad memory.
You think he's got a bad memory, or is he like legitimately being like?
I don't know. It could be both. It could be both. I had another guy. He was winning pro shows. I don't want to say his name, but he would also say, "Oh, I never touch insulin. Never touch insulin." And we're in Spain, walking on the street, and all of a sudden there was like a bunch of us. He ran to the first, pastry store, and inhaled like 4 or 5 of those pastries, sweating like a pig, obviously because he mistimed the insulin, right? He got so hypo, there was no discussion, right? He had to have the sugar immediately.
Dude, people are so weird sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some pros before where like they told Evan and I something, and then like on a podcast, they're like, no, we don't. I've never done that before in my life. I'm just like,
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny as shit.
What do you got for Q&As, brother? What do we got?
Well, real quick before Q&As, I was curious of what do you guys feel about GH right now, and how effective do you really feel like it actually is?
I feel like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would I use it? Absolutely. Would I buy it for that crazy expensive price? Like when you said, Chris, you could only afford 4 units, right? It's not really anabolic hormone. It's more anti-catabolic and fat burning. Okay. And for that reason, it has its purpose. Yeah. You interestingly told me just now that you use IGF-1, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
LR3.
So
yeah, long R3, right? This is the reason why we are using a GH4, to get that IGF elevation later. So might as well using IGF-1. And I think I said that formula back on a podcast, Chris. You remember 0.7 units per kilo per week. That was in all these journals back in the Eastern Bloc countries back in the day, DDR and Romania, Russia, Bulgaria. That's how much athletes were using therapeutic dosage. So if you're 100 kilos, that makes 240 pounds. That makes it 10 units a day. Right?
I couldn't handle it. My hands would fall off. They feel so numb.
Probably. But I would use it for sure.
Now, do you think GH is worth it?
I think GH is worth it, but I have some people that, I don't know, after some, oh my God, dude, what? Siri, stop. Siri just started typing everything I was saying. So, okay. I've just had some conversations with some recently, trying to think of all the people that I've had conversations discussing this with. So I think Dom Super Slice. Last person was Justin Harris. An interesting convo with Joe Palacios, but it was more anecdotal. Basically, from a lot of these guests, it seems like maybe it isn't a good idea to just take GH at like for 8 8+ units year round, every single day, for multiple years on end. Just
I agree with that.
That doesn't seem to be as beneficial. It seems like if you do use GH, then lower than those doses, and then maybe, for example, do it during a certain period of time, or don't inject it 3 times a day. And
no, I agree.
It just,
I agree.
yeah, like Justin Harris, for example, feels like GH is actually good short term as in like over the course of the next year, or the next couple years or something. But he feels like long term, say over the course of 10 years or even 15 years, feels like the high dose use of GH is what's causing a lot of like proportional changes in a lot of these bodybuilders that aren't so appealing.
Yeah, I agree. No, I totally agree. I totally agree with all that.
It's that ketogenic. I mean, you're gonna risk diabetes with the long-term high dosage GH alone. Yeah, it causes basically hyperglycemia, right? And that's warning that comes with it. Yeah, so you don't use year round, of course, but the peak contest period, would you benefit from it? Yeah, I mean,
Every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with everything.
And then like Evan says that too, right? Evan would prefer to use it just during prep, not during the off season.
I'm going to tell you, because I was a little bit intrigued. Actually, I sent a message to Dr. Dean that you talked to. He was explaining on your podcast, right? About how to use it really. So I do remember back in the day, first thing that I remember getting that information, there was plasma half-life, and it was basically 17 to 28 minutes, which I remember very well. And that's why I was taking it as such, because doctors were giving to the parents of the dwarfs, right? And telling them that, okay, you have to use it on empty stomach, like 45 minutes to an hour before meal, or postprandial 2 hours after, because we don't want to have an interaction with insulin and GH at the same time. So this is what stuck in my head. But then I had a pro bodybuilder, Sandra Hofer, I believe, and he sent me all these studies and plasma half-life, but there's not actual. And Dr. Dean was saying actually it's hours later, 2, 3, 4 hours later, so then it wouldn't make sense. So I don't really know what is plasma half-life anymore and what it is used for. You have that obviously administration, and you have a distribution, and you have a clearance time and all this kind of stuff. I was under impression, and that's how I use it always before, it has to be on empty stomach, like hour before your meal, so you don't interfere with the glucose. But apparently, the way he said it also, that wouldn't make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do you remember him saying this on the podcast?
Yeah, we had a little discussion too on just the injection type as well. And just because there was some various contradicting, like
sub-Q or intramuscular.
Yeah, and then he said he remembered the research back then. He couldn't remember. He wasn't able to pull it up then, but about the area under the curve. And then he pulled it up and posted it on his Instagram like a little bit later before we posted the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to see it. I know that the same guy that I talked about as Andy Bell, I'm going to tell you. It's from Australia, that lives in Dubai. He sent me the IV distribution and absorption of GH. And because it was so dramatically faster and better, he was actually using IV.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, let's do these questions real quick because you guys got a bunch. Yeah. If you guys are down to rapid fire it.
Yeah, rapid fire.
This is my fault, man. I always just never give enough time for the Q&A. I just want it all to myself. I'm a selfish bastard. Andrake048 asks, what PEDs do men over 45 need to stay clear from?
Personal opinion? I mean, it's a hard, broad question to ask because I don't know if this is a competitor or a general guy, but I mean, I think that they need to ease up on Trenbolone. I don't think it's really required or a needed thing at that point in age. I think Nirandrolones maybe overall keep them very low. I don't think they need to be higher, because I know there's some research showing out that Nirandrolones might be linked to Alzheimer's, or, you know, it might be a little neurotoxic. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, a little neurotoxic.
Sure,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Trenbolone, I would say you don't need to do Trenbolone. And honestly, Dick, I think older guys, just some tests and some Primo, if that's what you're going to be, if you're going to be cycling, something a little more mild. It's like you don't need to push the envelope with Anadrol and running Trenbolone and all these heavy compounds when you're in your mid 40s.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, I feel the same way. But is this 45 guy, you know, competitor, or 45 guy average person that
Don't know.
you should just do TRT and maybe HRT, just, you know, sprinkling something else with it, like you said, Primo.
Yeah. And stay away from orals. You don't need orals to mess up all your lipids when you're in your 40s either. Most people in your 40s, you start to have a little more hyperlipidemia anyway.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I smoked rocks. Asked how much Synthol is actually used nowadays compared to Milos era.
I hope the people are not using.
I have nobody that I know of.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, because let me tell you, in my era, there was normally you fill up this syringe of 3 cc, and that's per spot. Okay, and then people start using a bigger syringe of 5 cc, and you know, doing per spot. So really, it's the worst thing ever. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Use me as an example. It killed my career. Don't do it.
Okay.
It's no amount of Synthol is needed.
Yeah. You scared me off it.
Yeah, I promise you. If you take something from me, like if you're my younger brother or son, I would tell you, use me as a example that was the biggest mistake of my life. Irreversible.
Marky Gaines asks, ask Milos' current PED or peptide cycle or regimen at his age in life.
Yeah.
Any health scares?
Yeah, 250 testosterone annotate and 50 DECA. I use these for ages.
Nice.
Because I have a hip replacement surgery, obviously. I was using BPC, OM57 and TB500 for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to experiment because I have a good friend, Bill Mackey, that has a Peptides company, and he sends me all the protocols that I follow. So I tried Tesamorelin, and I kind of like it. I don't know if you've seen, I posted my posing like a week ago. You know, like once yearly around my birthday time, I would shave and then went to pump up like a motherfucker, you know, in a troche gym and take a diuretic and then do my video. So it's on my Instagram. You can pull it out and see it. I think I look decent. So I do think that this morning did burn some, you know, visceral body fat. I do, because I kind of feel that my, you know, skin fold is lesser. I used CJC and Hypertrophy, and it's freaky that 15 to 20 seconds after the injection, I would get flashed. Like really, I could actually feel it. I don't know if you guys ever experienced it. So, of course, I don't believe that the growth hormone-releasing hormone peptides would be at the same level of GH. I think that GH would be much more potent. But yeah, I would always, you know, be open-minded and try it. So that's my protocol. I'm not on anything else. I know that some people suggest I'm using low doses of Trenbolone or something else, like, for the love of God. No.
For the love of God.
Okay. Have you, did you say that you had, was it just Sermorelin, not Tesamorelin or Hypertrophy?
I use everything. I use Tesamorelin, you know, religiously, because I've seen the studies that it really does burn your visceral fat. So
yeah,
I wanted to see if that is something. CJC with Ipamorelin, and then I have a Tesamorelin. I use it. I can't really tell you that I felt a difference when I use it. And then when I was, after my surgery, when I had a rehab, I got a hold of some serostin, right? I used $1. I could feel dramatically more effect from actual GH because you get leaner. Of course, I used for healing purposes, but mine as well, when I use for healing purposes and you keep your good diet and train, I can't compare peptides to the real thing. You know, let's put it that way.
I have been using Tesamorelin during my what is it called? This health phase. Had 12 weeks on the health phase so far, honestly, because I wanted to take a break of GH2, and I kind of like it. But as far as how much it works and what is it? I don't know. Just because people are saying that you should take a break from GH if you're using a lot, it gets in my head. So that's why I kind of wanted to take a break. And I don't know if I would think that anything that raises GH anyways, or even your natural GH production, would still have some kind of small effect to maybe insulin resistance.
Should.
But
that makes
how
sense.
much, I don't know.
I mean, interchanging one with another. If you are taking break from an actual GH, you should have a GH peptides. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Shout out to APR Health Solutions. Let's see. Ross Medjek asks, he would love you guys to compare nutrition philosophies. Now, I feel like that's a very general question, which may be kind of difficult to attack. But, I mean, is there anything...
Yeah, difference is like I do like dietary fat, healthy fats. I do have healthy fats in every single one of my guys' diets, whether it ranges from 50 grams a day to 75. Nobody's at an astronomical amount unless they're in a bulking season. I'm trying to create a higher caloric intake. But I do want people to be adding olive oil, avocado, nuts. I want that. I want that over other fats. But that's probably fundamentally, other than that, Milos and I are very similar. We push for a variety of food. I'm a big fruit guy. I have a lot of fruit in my guys' diets.
I love that you do that, by the way. Yeah.
What's that?
I love that you do that and think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel so much better when I just continuously have a variety of fruits in my diet.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Way better.
Yeah, they're just whole foods. I mean, we don't eat calories. We eat nutrients for what it is. I told that Chris before. I visualize all my food being broken down. So any protein broken down to amino acids, and I actually visualize those molecules of amino acids circulating and being integrated into the tissue. If I have a carbohydrate, how it's being broken down into glucose, and that glucose, I'm again directing it into the brain, into the muscle, and into the glycogen storage. I don't let just calories for the sake of calories. And then fats, obviously, we need some, fats. We have hidden fats in our protein sources, and then only additional fats that we take, as Chris said, it's olive oil, avocado, nuts. It just, your diet should be, you are what you eat, literally. So eat. I hate this intermittent fastings or a period of time restricted feeding. Why would you restrict your feeding? Why would you?
So weird.
Your body needs nutrients at all times. Give the right nutrients. So now, I mean, my whole diet since 1980s until now would be like frequent small nutritional intake of the macronutrients that I need. Okay. Sometimes we like to eat something for the taste, not for the nutrition. Okay. I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to lower my other macros, because I know that I'm going to throw in some garbage and that garbage can still burn in the fire of your metabolism, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to add the garbage on top of my nutrients. Now I'm going to have too many.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. Christian Dorgan asks, tits or ass?
Tits or ass?
Oh, I'm like, did I hear that right? Oh, is that his screen name? I was like, oh, for sure ass.
Ass, for sure.
100%.
Null-minded asks
100%.
pecs or titties. I
Wait,
don't
what?
really
On a
understand
chick?
Yeah. Yeah.
Titties, brother.
Yeah.
Yasser asks, what would be either of y'all's, or what would be both of y'all's food selection after insulin plus your timing application?
After the insulin, look, I was giving all my guys, and they're going to tell you, from Ben Pakowski and Dennis Wolf, Dennis James, we would have this cookies, like oatmeal made with banana, dates, raisins, dextrose, right? And
Sounds so good.
Yeah, that sounds gas, dude. Holy shit. I
listen,
might make some
for all
right
this
after this, to be honest.
everybody likes oatmeal cookies, don't we? Right?
Yeah.
So it's low fat, and then you can throw in bananas and dates and all that stuff. It's beautiful. It's dense, and you can cover a lot of insulin, right? 20 units.
Dates are just, they make things magical.
Bananas
Especially
and
if you
dates.
get a good date. Since you get good dates.
So literally speaking, okay, for
Do you
people,
fart from dates?
No.
No? It doesn't like clean you out just a little bit?
Oh, you mean help my stool pass? Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But I
And
don't
that
get
helps
gassy
too.
or bloated.
You don't get gassy though. Okay, that's nice. I probably just eat too much whenever I have dates because it's kind of like hard to stop, you know?
Oh yeah, there's a sorbitol. You get too much sorbitol, and
Yeah.
Or I tell you this, many of my guys, because I told them they can choose what they want after the insulin check. They like pancakes with the syrup and maple syrup and with jam and stuff like that. Some like rice cakes with a little bit of peanut butter and bananas on top of it, right? So I will let them choose the glucose. Right now, their glucose is working for you, so might as well enjoy it.
Do you still give them the peanut butter if they take insulin, or do you try to minimize that?
I try not to. I don't like it. Yeah, but 1 tablespoon is what 8 grams of fat, 6 grams of fat.
Yeah.
mine's cream of rice, fruit, and honey, or cream of rice, fruit, dates, honey, cream of rice, fruit, jam, something like that. If they don't like that, then they're like, oh, can I do rice check cereal with honey and fruit? Sure. Something like, usually I like rice based because rice doesn't digest pretty damn well. But
it's easy.
Some of my clients like different things. They're like, can I take away some of the cream of rice because it's so much and do a bagel? Sure.
Yeah. I like that's on my list too. They can choose, but I know that majority would prefer this one. Like, who doesn't like cookies or pancakes, right?
Pancakes.
When you're on a strict diet, right? Like, what is it? Have it. I have no problem. But cream of rice is always also a good choice.
Gotcha. Beckcall asks, what should I be focusing on as a 20-year-old natural bodybuilder?
Learning how to train properly and being as consistent as you can be. Staying away from toxic women as well.
Oh, I like that one.
I do. My guys sometimes be like, Chris, do you think I got genetics to really go far? Do you think I can make it? And I'm like, well, it depends. Stay away from toxic women. Don't do anything stupid and young and you think you're really cool, driving really fast and crash into somebody and get manslaughter. I don't know. These things do happen.
I had a great conversation with Mike Sommerfeld today, and I think honestly, kind of a valuable conversation to share. But I feel like a lot of us guys we're like fixers in a way, and we like to help a lot of women. I feel like that's something that we feel maybe some sort of fulfillment or I don't know, just a little bit. Of, you know what 100%. I'm saying? But I think he made a good point. Is he felt like he was in that cycle for so long, he realized that he just kept getting these and I hate to say it like this in a way, especially for the women that are listening, but
broken women,
I guess. So when you kind of realize that coming out of it, and he found what is her name? He found his current wife, and she just kind of handled everything very well, was super independent. Wasn't looking for help, honestly, or ways to fix things. And I think one of the greatest things is he finds himself a little bit more on the impulsive side, and she's actually able to come and take a step back and be like, oh, it's because you're feeling this way, right? Or oh, I'm acting like this because I'm on my period. Like she's a little bit more conscious, which is kind of cool because normally I feel like it's a little bit more flipped.
The right women will help you create your dreams. The wrong women will destroy your fucking dreams and step on you.
And burn your buckle.
And step on you.
But Mike, I see him the other day. Oh my God, he looks phenomenal.
He looks awesome, bro.
Yeah. And now, by the way, I do want to tell you, because I got the message that you were in Vegas. Normally, I would insist that actually I come and maybe train you. I have a cold that was glued to the bed the last 2 days.
Oh,
that's the only reason why I didn't offer. But as soon as you said that, by the way, you're in Vegas, I would love to come and train you actually once. Especially,
yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I feel like that's a huge honor for me. I actually might be moving to Vegas in March. There's a very, very high chance. So I'll probably be here for a while anyways.
This is the place to be, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I feel that too. The community here is super supportive and I really like it a lot. Plus, like you said, that feeling when we first started training and you're like going to a candy store and you want to go all the time. It's kind of how I feel going to all the new gyms here in Vegas.
Oh, dude.
Honestly.
Yeah. I don't know what people are now, but I promise you back in the day, and I talked to so many others, I was dreaming about training next morning. I couldn't wait to wake up and what can I do the next day? I mean, seriously, this kind of passion for training. And just to throw that in, because now it's all, Dr. Dean said it, definition of you want to least amount of stimulation would produce the most amount of results, right? That would be like kind of formula, yes. But like Jay Cutler, for example, he loves training. He trains 7 days a week. And back in the day, he was training also twice a day. Some people just love training. Nothing feels better than training.
Yeah.
So it's not really always least amount. Sometimes you go just for fun and to feel alive. Enjoy yourself doing it.
My problem is I really like training hard in a lot of sets.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's great. But the problem is normally, like, for example, right now, me coming off of like a hair transplant and I haven't been training regularly throughout this health phase because one, the recovery process, and then two, I just came back from Thailand. And then like I came here to Vegas and I just like, fuck, you just can't help it. And I've been sore for like 4 days after leg day. It's still there. David Rinshaw and Ahoda both ask, do you guys have any tips for lagging legs and what are your favorite movements?
Lagging legs. One, work on your hip mobility. A lot of the people I know that can't grow big legs is their mechanics are all wonky because their hips are so tight or they have tight ankle mobility and their knees hurt and everything feels awkward. You always know when somebody can't do a zombie squat properly. If you can do a zombie squat properly with like 225 or 185 and it's perfect technique, you have good hip and ankle mobility. And I would think, honestly, that's number one, because if you have that, you're going to be able to do every single leg machine there is and make sure you feel it. When people are like, oh, I can only do these 3 machines, it's probably because their hip mobility is so shit and their ankle mobility is so crap, they're stuck with only 3 machines. So number one, that. And two, dude, I think basic stuff, a squat variation, a leg press variation, a lunge variation. Like, I think they're great movements. And if you do them correctly and you're working on full range of motion and controlling the weight, I think it's going to work out for you.
That's a good point.
Chris, you mentioned about chest, like those dumbbell incline presses when those people were doing it 120 and you made them do it 100 and fail before 8 reps or something, right? Well, similarly for legs, any squatting movement, interesting you said zombie squats, because I used to do zombie squats. I didn't even do the front squats at all. We do the zombie squats. The mechanics. But any squatting movement, doesn't matter if it's hex squat, the V squat, split machine squat, any squat, whatever. Once you start lowering yourself, you have to literally feel when the knife is thick in your quad, when you feel that burn, right? And then when you start feeling that burn, you need to turn that knife left and right and make that burn, intensified maximally. So Once you start feeling that burn, slow down the tempo, use only the muscle, focus only on quads. We talk about not surrounding muscle, not putting it on your glutes or a hamstring or anything, pushing with the calves or lower back. You lower yourself with the quads and you raise yourself with a quad contraction only, intensifying the pain to the point of screaming, and you can't get out of that pain zone. If it's burning is here, stay there. Don't go, oh, I'm gonna catch my breath, I'm gonna rest. No.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. You stay there until the pain is unbearable. Anybody can grow legs. I mean, this is it. But nobody, like Ronnie Coleman says, nobody wants to go do the goddamn heavy weight. It's not about heavy weight. It's like learn to burn.
Yeah.
Okay, this way you have to enjoy that pain, and really once you feel it, okay, intensify. Don't just have a little bit of burn. Intensify it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for quads, I mean, you said before, Niall, that your quads were not that great. And then when I was looking at that video with you and Chris, like, what do you mean? Look at your legs. It's fucking crazy. And then you acknowledge that maybe you didn't even realize how much they grew. Okay, they didn't grow by the accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
You worked them your ass off for those quads.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty much sure that you break the puddle and you feel the quad explode.
Yeah, absolutely. A huge change in training. I
Yeah,
think
and one
training
thing
is a big
I see
factor.
guys, they go too heavy and they just end up hip hinging the weight.
Mm-hmm.
I see that all the time. They're doing Roger squat and they're just rocking back on their hips. The other day I was doing legs and I went up to 4 plates on the bottom and then a plate and a quarter on top, going real slow, sitting down to the hole, squeezing the quads. And this kid, I mean, no offense to him, maybe 50 pounds lighter than me, was just grabbing the same weight, sitting back into the hip, pushing his hip forward, hip back, hip forward. Very little knee flexion at all. It's like,
Gotcha. Yeah.
you know, we've all seen guys do that. Like, well, you can squat 500 pounds, pal, but your ass is huge and your quads are small. You know, like change the way you're doing the movement. And as Milos said, it's like find that rhythm, get in there and keep it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think this is a good question. Current Events asks, punny, best ways to address high ApoB on labs while on gear.
It's a good question because I had this conversation with my father about it. And in some situations, it's genetic. Some situations it's not. Some situations it might be drug induced. I really don't have the answer to that. I haven't had a situation where like it was way out of line and I had to correct it. I mean, I correct it usually just with nutrition, but like I can't sit there and say anything exclusively useful for the individual other than diet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 90% is hereditary, right? And nutritionally, if you do eat nutrients, not calories, you should be good. Yeah, that's a main thing for me that I could see. If you compromise and you eat just for caloric intake, that's why I'm bothered with people telling me I'm on 2,500 calories. That means nothing, right? Mm-hmm. It's nutrients that you take in to determine. So if you're on high protein fibrous carbs and enough fibrous carbs and good fats, you should be okay.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Derek, More Plates, More Days, about this as well. And it just seems like if you do have ApoB, it just kind of fucking suck. Like you are kind of a little bit fucked, but you just need to pay a lot more attention to everything regarding your cardiovascular disease risk in the long term. So every single area that you can possibly attack, including medication. And in the end, if even then you can't get your markers within a range in your blood work on a consistent basis from using also medication that your doctor is prescribing, from blood work medication like angiotensin receptor blockers and ACE inhibitors and ezetimibe, all of these other methods for cholesterol, doing citrus bergamot. I don't know how well red yeast rice is with CoQ10. I don't know how beneficial that is. I know that can be a little bit like a statin anyways. But if you can utilize all of these methods, and even then in the end you don't have markers that are going within range in your blood work consistently, then you should probably hang up the towel.
Yeah, some people's genetics are just fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of general population clients, and I've had general population clients that they're not using any gear, they're not drinking alcohol, they're not smoking, and their cholesterol is like 350. And they're like, I want to get it down. I want to lose body fat. And I got this guy to lose like 50 pounds, lose all his weight, do everything. And we made a big dent in his cholesterol, but there's no way he's not going to need a statin. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. And he's got heart attacks everyone in his family by like 50 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
fucking sucks, man. Most people, almost all the people probably listening to this podcast should be able to get your markers within range if you do all of these things, though, for sure.
yeah.
Like normally those are just extreme outliers. Plus, you know, you still have like, I forgot what I was going to say. Dr. Dean also made a good point. It was like a lot of the shuttling of LDL is through oxidative stress. So you can reduce a lot of oxidative stress. You can still reduce your cardiovascular disease risk in the long run.
Oh, for sure.
So-
Because just because you have LDL in range doesn't mean you're not going to have a heart attack. And just because you have LDL range really out of range doesn't mean you are going to have a heart attack.
Andrew Gergs asks, is there any reason / benefit to taking more than the minimum effective dose with anabolic androgenic steroids?
Hold on. Repeat that one more time.
Is there any reason or benefit to taking more than the minimum effective dose with gear?
Well, yeah, if you're at a point, you're a competitive bodybuilder and you reach a point you're plateaued, 300 mgs a test per week is probably not going to cut it anymore. So like there's going to be a little bit more androgen load required to either synthesize new tissue or maintain tissue. But the problem today is people aren't doing that. They're going right to the highest threshold possible.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing guys at my gym, their first cycle, they're like 750 trend, 300 tests.
What?
Oh yeah, like who told you?
750 trend.
Yeah, 750. Well, it was 800 trend in F8 because it's 200 milligrams per milliliter, and then 300 mgs a test. I'm like, who told you that? Like, well, that's what everybody's doing. Everybody's doing this. I don't know, but yeah, eventually it's going to be. You know, if you want that to be your goal, it comes down to someone's goal, dude. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
I have some guys who we're just happy with just cycling on and off and being the general gym bro and having some extra muscle. There's no need to do anything more than that. If you're a competitive bodybuilder and you're stuck and you might need to use a little bit more, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned minimum effective dosage. That means it's already effective. So if it's effective, it's doing the job, right? So don't just think that, okay,
my bad.
You know, so that microdosing, I like it. And really, to go back, you know, what I was saying, originally 87, I was terrified. I didn't know what would be the amount. I think Dorian Yates somewhere talk about that also when he started. I mean, he would listen to somebody else that advised him, and we were all very, very cautious, right? We talk about Tom Platz's area back in the 70s. They didn't abuse anything. I think like after 90s, when all these social media, not social media, but what it's called, getbig.com or some of those forums that came about. And it's still there. You can probably even see it. I was fighting with some idiots because they were just suggesting crazy dosages. This is what guys are doing. And I actually, you can probably still find it. I posted 2006, I believe, cycle of Olympia competitors. You know, just to say, understand, you don't need to abuse it. Because I guess some GH15, yeah, that's the guy. And somebody else, they would double, triple, quadruple dosage and say that this is what people are doing because they're probably steroid dealers. So it's much better if you use quadruple amount than less, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. So to answer the question for the guy, minimum effective dosage should be, if it's already effective, you know, keep it there. If you don't feel being effective any longer, then you can maybe bump it up very slightly. Gotcha. You know, this is how we do. But the dosages are not what they're circulating to be. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The biggest I ever bet was on less gear that I ran the prior year. You know, like It just like it didn't need to titrate up. I just improved other levers in my life that allowed me to get more out of the anabolics, better sleep, better digestion. I was able to eat more food. My training was better. My recovery was better. My gear was overall less, and I grew more.
Strict Scaly asks, well, says not a question, but yes, Milos and Chris, what an early birthday gift in all caps.
Oh, that's great.
He also asks, is there any bodybuilders that you guys think need more recognition, past or present?
Oh, as far as past, there is so many of them. I wish that Vince Taylor is glorified much more than he is. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about Charles Claremont, probably one of the most underrated bodybuilders of all time. Thierry Postel, oh my God. I mean, Niall, I don't know if you actually know all the guys. Those were guys competing with me that I pretty much idolized and I was looking up to. I'm like, oh my God, those guys are great. That's Chris Cormier for me is uncrowned Mr. Olympia. I mean, Sean, Flex, and Kevin I put in that group of uncrowded Mr. Olympias, and rightfully so. They were phenomenal. But people talk about them. Dexter Jackson managed to win Olympia 2008, okay? So he's former Mr. Olympia. But Chris Cormier, I think he's so underrated. He was phenomenal. And he competed in Sim 72 pro shows.
Dope posing routines too.
Yeah. Today, bodybuilders, I think everybody got enough attention. I mean, Martin Fitzwater was kind of not considered to be at the top, and then he beat Samson Prague, so he's never going to be overlooked again.
Yeah.
Andrew Jack, for years, we were saying that he has Mr. Olympia potential all over him, and finally he's reaching. Well, my athlete, Behruz Tabani, I love him to death, and I think super highly of him. We didn't really deliver on a Mr. Olympia stage, so it's kind of hard to talk about it. He is one of the guys who's going to be in the mix, and I hope that they would, give him enough attention.
Yeah, Behruz has a great look.
Yeah.
Who has the best front lat spread of all time?
Okay, I did say Andrew Jack because I was way too excited and analyzing, but then so many people sent me those pictures and I posted on my Instagram. 2003 Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I look at that, it's like, okay, I must be on the crack if I say that anybody can beat that.
I got a little excited.
Yeah, I got to, because when you really, think about it, that super small waist, right? Full round, wide shoulders and striated chest from in and out, from top to bottom, like, goddamn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a little bit unrealistic, Ronnie Coleman for sure. Lee Haney. I think that Lee Haney also doesn't get enough recognition now that you say he's 8-time Mr. Olympia, but people don't realize he was so dominant in his era. There was never a question if he should have or shouldn't have won. And he retired at the age of 31 just because there was no other goals. He beat the Arnold Schwarzenegger record. Mm-hmm. And he just stopped competing. And people don't maybe recognize him sufficiently as possibly the greatest of all time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Chris, who do you think? I'm curious. Did I miss somebody?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. I think this era, but I think of that past era. I mean, I don't know.
2003 Ronnie Coleman is pretty disgusting. Though I do have to say, I know I just lifted with him, which is probably why I feel like this, but the proportions on Mike Sommerfeld's front lat are kind of ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah.
The proportions just are kind of just don't make any sense.
They don't make any sense. I like that. It's funny.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Baumstad, Jesus Christ. He's the paragon of what classic physique looks like.
Yeah,
But
coming up all the gaps.
when I really dissect him, and then I look, well, I don't like his bicep, right? Oh, I don't like his abs. Oh, I think that his quads could look better, right? So, individually when I dissect, okay, but then he shows up on the stage and he's like, oh my God, this is flawless. This is like unbelievable.
Yeah, he has some kind of dominance. Bro has just some kind of aura. Got to be studied.
Well, who is your favorite? Who is your favorite?
Bodybuilder?
And then from a classic physique.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus fucking Christ. If I could just walk around like with a physique, it would be Ramon. For sure. Yeah, if I could just walk around with a physique anywhere, that would be the physique I'd want. Just kind of gorilla Popeye arms. I feel like that would feel right. Yeah. As far as competitive, like on stage, it's kind of hard. I always really liked Serge Nubret back in the day, just because of his proportions were kind of ridiculous. But I mean, in all honesty, there's just too many guys in the past to choose from that just have phenomenal physiques, and I really love the big arms. Like I loved Lee's and who am I thinking of? Fucking I'm brain farting, but the guys in the 90s just had ridiculous arms, man. So if I could do anything to get that, I would.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Serge Nubret, I know him personally, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you this story because he took me to the lunch to his favorite place in Paris, and then he ordered his usual. Did I tell you, Chris, what was his usual?
No.
2 kilo steak. Yeah, 4.4 pound steak. That was his lunch.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, insane. But yeah, his physique was just flawless. I agree with you. In the arms down position, okay, that Serge Nubret front triceps, or but with the arms up, yeah, you could see why maybe he lost back in the day to a few guys.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. All right, I have one final question that I ask at the end of every podcast. But if you were to disappear from the world tomorrow and you had one message you could send to the entire world today, what would the message be?
Love each other. Support each other. Yeah.
I think try to do whatever you can to make a difference in some other people's lives that are less fortunate than yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like share from your experiences. I love what I do. So it's like, I love helping people not make mistakes that I did. I see young kids. No, dude, don't do that. Promise me, just don't do that. Been there before.
But that all goes into love and support. Right?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And I see a lot of selfish people that don't care and they look away. If I see something that I feel I should say it, if I don't say it, I cannot sleep peacefully, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people take this maybe as a criticism. No, if it's I love to be criticized much more than praised because criticism is real and honest, right? And usually constructive, because if somebody tells you something, okay, you take it constructively. But just loving people, putting an effort into, why would I not show the love towards this perfect stranger, which I do all the time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so if world would be like this, we would have a better place.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. That was awesome. I think those were perfect at the end.
Sorry, I'm sick and I'm a little slow, but oh well.
He's slow. Milos, you did fine, dude. You did fine.
Yeah, you definitely did fine. Well, guys, this is the IFBB BMA. Chris Tuttle, Milos Sarchev.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
All right, thanks for coming on, homies. Let me know if you ever need anything, by the way. And also, thanks for letting me on y'all's podcast too. That was a big honor for me.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
See you guys.
Catch you guys soon. Later, guys.